a cruel, cruel summer. Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Now we're gone. The city is crowded, my friends are away, and I'm on my own. It's too hard to handle, so I gotta get up and go. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Now you're gone. You're not the only one. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Now you're gone.
Wow,
What
it worked.
is up?
I was like, this is either gonna work, or this is gonna be like Helen Keller at a spelling bee. It's gonna be real bad, but it worked, man. So
Yeah, man, good job. Look at
how's
this, look at
everybody
this
doing?
layout, guys.
Look at it.
This is simulcast right here. Look at that sickness. What's up,
Coming to you.
everybody? I know this is kind of last second here. We kind of figured we would get this in. Wes is on a little vacation, so we figured we'd get this thing in. You guys, on my channel at least, it was one of my it's still one of my top videos, man. The live stream that we did talking about Neca. So it's either everybody loves you or everybody likes to talk about Neca figures.
I think it's probably more about the figures, yeah. But yeah, man,
so,
like
this is cool.
this has been one of my favorite kind of like sub shows that we've done because, you know, Wes hates figures. I don't think he's ever really liked figures. I mean, there might be a couple of them that he's ever had, but like it's just not his thing. And so to be able to talk about this, because I've been collecting him since what, like 2000, like early 2000, something like that. The horror figures anyway, not just like other figures too. So it's great to get on here and do something like this.
Yeah, it's just another thing that I try to keep on the DL, I guess. But now that that we have these channels and stuff, it's easy for me to kind of talk about this stuff now because, again, I just collect so many different things, all in the same genre. But, you know, I try my best to kind of limit it to certain things, but I always feel like I end up getting pulled back in somewhere. So figures is one. I used to collect them when they first came out. Then I sold a lot of them because I was kind of out of it, and then I kind of got dragged back in again. So I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, it's weird because like just when you think that you're out, they pull you back in. Like there's always some gimmick or something, and that goes for everything right now, really. That goes for the Blu-ray companies, the boutique companies, that goes for the figures, that goes for the freaking vinyls. Like there's always some damn thing that will pull you back in. And so that's why we're here, basically.
Yeah, man, you're definitely right. Now, another thing that's interesting is that we talk about this with physical media. As much as it's like, the physical media world would be dead in 2020, I feel like if you're really in it, it feels like a pretty strong time for physical media because of all these boutique labels. And another thing, too, is we've been doing this for such a long time. I almost feel like now, as a collector, has been like the peak of a lot of this stuff because it just seems a lot more mainstream. When we were starting to collect, or at least me, and I was collecting NECA, like you might find some at KB, maybe Toys R Us. You'd have to go to like Suncoast to get these things. Where now you walk into Walmart and Target, and they're all right there.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing. I was at Target last week, and they had like multiple of the Ultimate NECA figures and some of the clothed figures. You never used to see anything like that. Like it's become this big thing. But on this particular show, though, we kind of figured that we would talk about the past, like figures that we thought were some of the best figures that from our collection that we've collected over the years. We would talk about like the present stuff that we just got, and then we would talk about like a bunch of upcoming releases that NECA is getting ready to put out. Now I've got other figures besides NECA. I mean, I've got some of Muck Time stuff. I've got some, Jesus Christ, what was the other company? Not Sideshow, because I can't afford
Soda
Sideshow.
or something like that?
Soda, I've got some Soda stuff, but like NECA is really like the main one. Like I don't know, it always has been. It's by far what I've got the most of, and we'll talk about it. We'll get into just all of that stuff and show some of these figures that I've had in my collection for 15, 20 years now, it seems like.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, we did like kind of a part one talking about, collecting NECA figures and stuff. It's on my channel if you look down into the videos. And like I said, it did get a lot of great feedback. This one is a little more structured. So I think, like he said, we're going to talk mainly about, our favorites of the past, present, and future instead of just kind of showing what we have. So I think it's going to be cool just to kind of talk about, things that we got a long time ago that we hung on to that we really like. It might not be worth a lot, may not be favorites to others, but for some reason it's special to us. Maybe some stuff that we never got or sold that we wish we still had. Some of the current lines and figures that we really like, and then kind of some news about what's coming up. But I'm looking really quick in here, and we got some people in the chat. What is up, everybody? And Geek Groom Life says, his figures, this is coming on tonight. Yeah. 300 NECA figures by ironically tomorrow. I am selling the complete NECA Predator line. Was fun. My largest statues is crowding up. That's a big jump, man. I will say I have never bought a Predator figure. I think I may have Arnold. Either. I think I might have like an Arnold one, but that's it. Like that's one of those lines, man. Predator's a slippery slope, man. I mean,
there's a couple. There's like once you get into like Predators, Alien or Gremlins, like you're screwed completely. Like, because there's 100 figures in each one of those sets.
Yeah, man. I have luckily stayed away from all that. I think I have just Stripe from the Gremlins line left. I may have. There might have been like an exclusive I have, but other than that, the Gremlin ones are neat. But if you're collecting Gremlins and other Ultimates, in my opinion, Gremlins I don't like because the scale is just off to me. So unless I was just doing Gremlins, I kind of have stayed away from them. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, old buddy Crater wants to know when the hell the Teen Wolf Ultimate NECA is coming out.
Oh, dude. What's funny? I actually almost changed out that Teen Wolf poster to another NECA-related poster, but I totally forgot. I would love a Teen Wolf figure. Who just did that? I just got one. Mego. Who is that? What it's called? Mego, right?
Mego. I don't know. Like I got a bunch of them too.
What are doing like all the shit now? I just bought a Teen Wolf figure and it looks great. So if you have just go online, find Mego Teen Wolf. It looks awesome, man. It really does.
Hold on one second. We got a drop in from Fat Rod Zombie. We got to take this. He says, "More hummus than hummus." Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wanted you to know that.
Thanks, Rob.
So anyway, there's lots of stuff that they got coming out, but we're going to take a trip back to the future, and I'll let you start because I know I'm afraid I'm gonna pull some shit out and you'll be like, well, yeah, but I got the fucking like rare limited edition exclusive that has like blood and shit coming out of it. So you go first.
No, honestly, like I have some cool stuff here, but I'm not gonna say like I can't say that. I don't know. Anyway, all right, I'll start out. So we'll start about some old stuff, and I did think I might have shown some of these at the other show that we did, but I'm going to show two that are the old ones. It's part of that cult classics collection that we both talked about before that we really, really liked.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, these are just super special because to get figures from this movie is very rare, and these two figures have become very rare, and that is my boys. So you can see we got Michael. Sorry, there's some glare there. And then we got David, and still packaged up. So again, those are two of my favorites because again, Lost Boys, being my favorite movie pretty much. That was a must own for me. And my buddy Mike has these, and I think he's got them signed, which is pretty neat. A lot cooler than what I have. But to me, those are just super special. Probably the two most special NECA figures I have in my line. And I wish that Lost Boys would get more love. I don't know what's going on with that. Why could NECA do it back then and not now? I would love to see Lost Boys, and man, I would love to see other cast members as well. That's
what I was thinking. Like, why did they never put out like Corey Haim's character or what's the guy's name? Max. Max would have been a great figure, if they would have done something like that. But I love those figures. I only have the David. I can never find the other one like for any kind of like price that I can afford, and definitely not now if you try to find either one of those. But like I got the David figure pretty early on, so those are both awesome figures.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's interesting too is that man, like I always wonder, like Funko. I don't know if because there's no likenesses that it's so easy for them to get product out, but they did a Lost Boys line, and that's another company that I said to myself, I am not doing these Funko Pops. I am not doing them. Never. And I held off for a long time, and then I said to myself, I will only buy these if they come out with Lost Boys. And in the back of my head, I never thought it was going to be a chance in hell that was going to happen. And then sure enough, I think like a year or two ago, they came out with a Lost Boys set, and I was like, shit. So I bought them, and then I lined them up in my display case, and then right next to them, I have some Karate Kid stuff, and I was like, well, I could probably get the Karate Kid ones to go here. It would make sense. And then I bought the Karate Kid ones, and it was like, oh, I'll put some Back to the Future one, dude. And then it just like, and that's the thing, it just became the same thing where I had to like kind of put a little bit of stop on it and be like, okay, if it isn't one of my favorites, I can't do it. And then I got Jaws and then all this stuff. So again, that's another whole slippery slope, but I don't get them a lot unless it's something really special. Like I don't have Jasons or Freddys or anything like that.
That's the thing. Like the Funko Pops scare me to death. Like when I walk into a store and there's just like a mountain of them. Like if you go to FYE or you go to any kind of store like that, there's so many of them. I wouldn't even know where to start. Like so, I don't even get into that. Like I can't. There's no way.
It's hard, man. And I think the one thing that Funko and NECA does well is that they bring these like classic movies and stuff together, and everything is in scale. And that's like to me where it's like mind-blowing, is because as a kid, if you wanted to play with G.I. Joes and He-Man, the scale was so off that it never really worked. So you always kind of kept things separated, where now if you're a kid and you're playing with these things, like to have which we'll get into it, but like to be able to have Karate Kid and Back to the Future in the same universe and world with the same scale, it, like to me, if that was me as a kid, my mind would have been completely blown, you know?
Oh yeah.
So
all right, let me get one of mine out here. I mentioned I want to show you this one because I mentioned this one to you last time, and I don't think that you knew about this one. And so just to show you that I'm not bullshitting, I don't know when they put this out. I don't know the year or anything, but this is the Winchester 2-pack.
Oh so, yeah, I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, wow. It's the Shaun of the Dead Winchester 2-pack. It comes with Shawn and of course Ed, and it looks like it's got like a little like a Hennessy bottle that you can, and flames to catch the place on fire and all that. And it's got a PlayStation controller that comes with it.
That's so funny.
But like this is one of my
all bloodied up, right?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite figures that I got too. And I don't see this much. Like I don't see it on eBay a lot or anything like that.
Now, was it a cult classic too, or no?
Yes, it's one of the cult classics. And they came out with a Shawn figure, but I don't. Did they come out with an Ed figure that was just like by himself?
Not that I recall, but they could have. That whole Shaun of the Dead thing kind of passed me by with the figures. That could have been maybe when I was a little out of it. Do they show on the back who was around, like in that set or anything like that?
No. Well, that's the weird thing. I was just looking at like the only thing on the back is like the set itself, like what's in the set, and they don't have any of the thing. But I imagine the Shaun of the Dead figure would probably show that. I've got that somewhere, but yeah. I always really, really liked that set. I bought that probably 10 years ago. It had to be. And it's always one of my favorites because I love that movie and just the 2-pack like that. I love 2-packs of anything like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm looking around. I think I have like one over here for later, but yeah, I do too. And I've always kind of been that way. And even if when you get to like WWF figures and stuff, like I was always into like the tag team stuff, like to have two figures in one, like as a Hasbro figures, and you know you could get Demolition or LOD or whatever. Like I was down for that for sure. I always like really liked the 2-packs. Even those classic WWE ones that came out that Jax did back in the day, like I was collecting only the tag teams. I had like Strike Force and all this other stuff. So I just always thought 2-packs were really the coolest thing.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them. They don't make them like that now, though. You notice, like, now when you get a 2-pack, it comes in like just like the square box. Like, they don't have the ones that are like that anymore.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think that Shaun of the Dead is probably pretty valuable in the collector's world with NECA, I'm pretty sure. Because, again, it's not something I even see on a regular basis, nor have seen. So, to me, I feel like that's probably something that is pretty sought after for some people. I saw a couple of people talking about more Lost Boys stuff and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Zombie Ed, there is one, huh? Oh, you know what? I have seen the big Shawn one.
Yeah, I have two.
Oh, yeah. Wait, you have seen it, or you have two of them?
No, I don't have it. I have two. That'd be fucking awesome. I just keep two of them around, like different rooms. No, I mean I've seen it, but I've never got around to buying it or anything. So he's saying there's a regular Zombie Ed figure. That one has to be rare as shit too, then, because I've never seen that.
I don't recall it either. No, definitely not. But I know somebody in here was talking about Lost Boys with like License to Drive and all that other stuff would be cool. Listen, like I don't think it would be that hard to get a Corey Haim sign-off license. I mean, if NECA came to Corey Haim's family, whoever owns his stuff, it's like kind of one of those things like why wouldn't they let them do that? I don't know. To me, it just seems like it wouldn't be something that they wouldn't be able to get at this point.
Yeah, Corey Haim should just, I mean, the estate of Corey Haim should license out pretty much anything, I would imagine.
I would think so. Shaun of the Dead, the mid-late 2000s, yeah. I mean, definitely, right?
Had to be, yeah.
Now, does anybody else in the chat have that pack or no? Because again, that's a new one to me.
I'd say that there has to be at least a couple people
that have that. Oh, I'm trying to see what I have that's old.
The one thing that I regret more than anything else, though, in the figure kind of thing, was not getting any of those fucking Devil's Rejects figures when they came out.
I have that written down here as like grails in the NECA world that I must have walked by like 100 times and saw.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's strange, man. Because you know what, you say what you want about Rob Zombie and this, that, and this. There's a market for stuff he's done. Like anything Devil's Rejects, people go nuts for. I mean, trust me, there's some people on here that in the community that I follow that are horror nuts, and it's like they're basically their whole collection is Rob Zombie related stuff. Like anything they buy that's big money is all like Devil's Rejects and stuff. And those figures are very valuable. There was like a 3-pack. There was I don't know if it was Thousand Corpses or not, but like Tiny had a figure that I think was really valuable at this point. And I remember seeing all those at like near me. There was this place called Newberry Comics, which was like kind of like a shop that had like records and a lot of DVDs and toys and stuff. And they were the place that I would always see a lot of this stuff. And it was around the time that I was doing a lot more DVD hunting, and I was just kind of walking by all the NECA stuff, which we can get into in a little bit, because there was a lot that I literally walked by and said, "Oh, that's cool," and then never picked it up, and now it's worth tons of money. It was all
man. Like those figures were everywhere. In fact, like there's an interview with Rob Zombie that I was watching on YouTube, and he's at some sort of toy store, and like all those figures that are worth like hundreds of dollars are all behind him, like every single one of them. And I'm just like, dude, they were so like produced at that point, but I don't know, people just bought them up. But like John Crisip wants to know if we got any of the $5 NECA figures that they messed up on at GameStop. It was an NES Freddy and a Part 5 Jason around 2018. I didn't. No idea.
So I don't remember that GameStop messed that up, but I do own that first Jason that was like, and that, to be honest, I think that's what got me back into the NECA world, was when San Diego Comic-Con released that Jason that was like the 8-bit, and everybody was going nuts for it. I knew somebody that was at Comic-Con, and I messaged them being like, "Can you get me one of these, please, please?" And they did and sent it my way. And you know, that thing was like the first time you really saw like things getting flipped for big money. And that's what kind of pulled me back in, because it came in like that nice box that had like the window that you could open and stuff like that. So I do own that still. And I do own the Freddy one. I have two 8-bit Freddy Ultimate Necas, and I am actually looking to sell one. So I don't know if they are worth anything, what they go for, but I have one still sealed in box. That if anybody's looking for it, let me know, because I'm looking to get rid of it. To be honest, it's just sitting. I
still think they're pretty valuable, though. I don't think that the price went down that much, but there was a period of time there, man, where it was just like right after those came out and people were losing their shit.
Yeah.
Where it was like way up there.
Yeah, and then Neca reproduced it again, though. I remember that kind of pissed me off. They released that 8-bit Jason later, and it was all the same, except the only difference is I think it came with the mother's head inside, where the original one didn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of pissed me off, because I would have loved to have the mom's head, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to rebuy this. I have the original one. So I don't have that second edition, but it is a cool edition for sure. And I saw someone ask about Super Beasto. There was a Super Beasto toy. I don't know if NECA did it. I don't know if NECA did it, but I remember seeing it.
Horrible fucking movie, by the way. If you've ever seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. I mean, it was... I'm going to tell you, I talk about this with Wes in our Rob Zombie video, is that when that first came out, I was on a very big Rob Zombie kick, and I thought that was like the funniest movie. And then I tried to rewatch it leading up to our video, and I was like, wow, I don't know how I found this funny back then. Like it was kind of South Park-esque, but it was cringy at the same time, you know?
Oh yeah. It's definitely cringy. And I think he said he had the same experience on that as he did with like House of 1,000 Corpses, where like it was just a huge studio kind of like thing where he was fucking up on it, but like, you know, he'd already gotten way too far into it, and he was just trying to throw money at it to fix it, and like it just became a big mess. Like the end of House of 1,000 Corpses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But anyway, what do you got?
I talked about this one before. It's another cult classic. I know we talked about this one. It's still one of my favorites, and that is the Tall Man, Phantasm, cult classic. Another one that, sadly, this is it for him, right?
Yeah, there was never any other.
Get Tall Man.
Yeah.
And he comes with the little cloaked minion. And I always thought that was a cool one because, as you guys know, I think both of us are really big Phantasm fans. So to me, that's a really important one, especially with Angus Scrimm being passed. And that's the only Tall Man figure that we ever got. So that's a great one.
Yeah, that always confused me too, because if there's one figure that they could have done, or it's not really a figure per se, but if there's one thing from that movie they could have done, it would be the Hemi-Cuda. Like, why the hell didn't they license that car?
Well, I have one over here. It's die cast, and on the license plate it says Phantasm, so it's legit, but it's not from. It's from another company. I'm sure you remember that one. But yeah, I mean, imagine a NECA Hemi-Cuda. Like, that would have been so bad.
He could have had them sitting in it. It would have been great.
It comes with Michael and stuff. That Mike, yeah. Or like Mike comes on like a little dirt bike. Oh, that'd be so sick.
License that little dirt bike out with him.
That's another thing too. Like, I'm sure, but who knows? I mean, they're kind of reaching now. They're kind of moving outside the box. So you never know. Maybe they can license some of this stuff out again. I mean, if they've already done it in the past, why wouldn't they do it again?
Yeah, I mean, as we get further along into the show, we'll talk about like they really are like stepping outside of the box quite a bit here lately. There's some really cool stuff coming out. All right, so this is the one that I think that Wes wants. And this is one of my favorite Jason figures, so I figured I'd show this. It's the Part 5 retro Roy figure, yeah. There's something about this line of figures. I have all of them. I know you got all of them. The clothed Jason figures like this that is just amazing. Like, I love these things. And it comes with...
I have that over here too because Wes had asked about that. So that is pretty cool because, I mean, when that was, I think when they showed pictures for the first time, everybody was like, holy crap, they're doing a Roy. Like, that was different for the time. Yeah.
And you can get the cleaver with it, and then you get the garden shears and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I know me and you are still pretty big fans of the clothed ones or cloth ones, or however you want to word it.
Yeah,
I know some people aren't either, but I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm more into the ultimates. I don't know what it is about the cloth ones. I really do like those a lot.
To me, it's like a perfect combination between like the regular plastic figures and like the Mego style figures. Like they're a good combination. I just think they look better too. Like there's something about them that just looks more, I don't know, lifelike when they put the clothes on them and stuff like that. They just always look better.
Because it doesn't look like it's all plastic and stuff like that. So I mean, they might not pose as well as some of the other ones, maybe with articulation, but I just kind of think, that they look a lot cleaner. I'm trying to kind of read some of these comments here, but somebody said Neca re-released a few. Geek Room Life said the Neca the GameStop exclusive for It. That is right, and I bought that It at GameStop, and I saw it at like Walmart the other day, and I was like, I thought this was a GameStop exclusive, and I can understand people being mad about that because I know they were paying big money on eBay for this thing, and then Neca just re-released it in Walmarts and stuff. So now all those people that paid big money for an exclusive, it's not exclusive anymore. So that's kind of a weird thing. And
when they do that
about
shit,
that too.
Yeah,
because they're starting to do that again, even though they promised they wouldn't do that. So that's another thing that we can kind of get into. So this is an old school one. It's different. It's one of the first NECA figures that I bought when I was coming back into the game. Probably. So yeah, I was in it early when it was like still kind of McFarlane, and then I got out of it, came back in when it was kind of cult classics. But this bad boy here.
Oh God, yeah.
It's a big boy, and it's a talking Patrick Bateman. I had him displayed actually at my old house, so his weapons are in there, but they're all over the place. So he's been open, but I was able to put him back in because I don't have room to display him now. So I just kind of have him up on a shelf in a box. But yeah, I always loved that figure. Another movie that I was just a huge fan of, and to actually have an action figure of, I was always like souped about that. So I have him, and then I have the little one that kind of matches it. Basically the same figure, just small.
Yeah, I had to get that one, and I don't have that many 18-inch figures. I think I have any in the box. Like, I've got the Jason and the Pinhead that's always, like, behind me over there, but those are both out, and they're the ones where, I'm assuming that one's the one where you, like, walk by it and it says shit.
Says stuff, yeah.
Yeah. The same thing.
And some videotapes or whatever. Let me see what he says.
They still work.
He says... Makes over 10 phrases. Oh, I figured it would say what he says on here. It doesn't. But I think I have to return videotapes is one. There's a couple on here. But yeah, it's a cool one. The only other ones I have that are big like that is I have Beetlejuice. And I have like a Freddy one that's not... To me, he's recent. It was like part 2. He came with like a little door that you opened and he was in there. He was kind of one of the newer ones they did. But then they started releasing like a lot more Freddys. And I was like, they all kind of look the same. So I just have the part 2 one. But the Jason one's sick, and anything Myers is cool, but I just don't have any of those.
So Crater says, too, that, and we'll get to this a little bit later, that the Mccreedy figure was going to be, from the Thing, was going to be a Target exclusive, and now you can get him anywhere. And that is true.
I'll go back on what I just said, because unfortunately, I haven't been able to find Mccreedy at any of my Targets, and I've been searching high and low for a couple months, and I don't have him still, so I mean, I could probably order him at this point, but I was hoping that he'd be a little more readily available at the stores around me, but I still haven't found him, so I'm kind of glad that, in a way, that he's going to be produced a little more, because I need him. So that's a selfish portion of me, is that I never, part of me is I didn't go on eBay and pay big money for him. I just hoped that I would find him somehow.
Yeah, we'll get to that one a little bit later in the show.
You can rub it in my face.
Oh, yeah. It's always one of my favorite things to do since you've got, like, more shit than God. Hold on one second.
That horror critic says, tell me you guys have some movie maniacs.
Brother, I've got the movie maniacs, yeah.
All right, good. Let me see what he's got, because I have 2 that I was going to bring out, and I was like thinking to myself, I think you have them, so let's see what we got.
Oh, you want to see the movie maniacs now? Oh, shit.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. We can get back to them.
Yeah, if you've got them, whip them out.
No, I didn't bring them out because I thought maybe you had the ones I had. So once we get there, I'll talk about it if I haven't.
Well, here is something similar to what you just showed. It's a little bit bigger of a figure. This is the 12-inch Friday the 13th, Part 7, New Blood, Jason.
Oh, has he got the chain on?
He's got the chain on and everything, yeah. And it comes with the mask. It comes with the axe. This one I bought off a guy years and years ago who was selling a lot of this stuff. It's a Cinema Fear, like I said. And it's one of the only 12-inch figures from that I have from the Cinema
Yeah, I was going to
Fear.
say, you don't see 12 too often.
No. But that's one of my favorite figures just because, I mean, Part 7 is probably the best design of Jason of any of them that I can think of.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to get into that in a little bit. But no, that's sweet. That's a good one, man. There's some people, John, yeah, man, I'm going to definitely talk about that in a little bit, too. Ice Bowie said Pumpkinhead. I don't have any Pumpkinheads. I know he had some movie Maniacs and stuff, but is that it? Is that all he had?
Pumpkinhead? I think there's like a 12 or an 18-inch Pumpkinhead. I don't remember which one.
Oh.
And then there's a movie Maniacs one. And I don't think I've got that either for some reason.
Now, this next one, I'm not sure if I showed last time. I don't think so, because it was kind of buried. It's one of my favorites, and I know it's worth a lot of money now. And that is this Exorcist where Reagan's head spins around. Let me see if I can even get it. So I don't know if you can get it to work inside the box.
I pray that you can.
I don't know. Let's see. No, I don't think so. But yeah, it's Reagan in the bed, and you press a button, I thought, and her head spins and plays the music, but I thought you could do it from the box.
Like outside the box?
Yeah, I thought so, but I guess not. I don't know. I guess not. But yeah, I know this one is pretty valuable now. Anything with like these kind of like almost like scenes, or I know they had a couple. I think you could get like Nancy with Freddy in the tub or something, but it's a little smaller. But I think those are pretty valuable as well.
Yeah, I've got I've got them in there in the other room. I should have brought them, but there's I've got the one with the Freddy worm. There's that scene where he's
eating her. Yeah.
And then there's the Alice one and Jason on the canoe, and then there's the Leatherface one where he's taking the hammer, which is probably the best one because like it's connected. The hammer is connected with like a thing of blood that's made out of like plastic. It looks like crystal almost.
That's awesome.
So like that's all like connected, and holding the figure up.
They're a little bit smaller, right? They're a little smaller.
Yeah, they're just probably about that big, about that tall. Yeah.
Yeah, those are sweet. I don't know if that is all of them that they came out with. Was there only probably like a handful?
There's some that I don't have, I'm sure, but those are the ones. And I bought those from like China. They took 6 months or something like that to get in. This has been years ago. But like it's the only place you could find them. Like you can order them and just like wait, or you could pay like $80-$90 for them. And I don't know how much they are now, but yeah.
Yeah, so
but
that,
anyway.
I'm a big Exorcist fan. So any kind of figures and stuff of Reagan, I'm all in on. I have that other spider walk with like the bloody mouth or whatever. I didn't bring that one out because I knew I was bringing this one out.
Yeah, so
Linda Blair for sure.
So let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. Have you? I don't know why. I just like this figure. Have you seen this one?
You know what? Is that the? Yeah, I remember it because I can remember saying to myself like, oh, that would be kind of cool to get because it's Robert Englund, and it's not Freddy. And
yeah, it's the Fred Krueger figure. It's not Freddy. It's actually just like Robert Englund, and I think it came out. I would assume around the time that the New Nightmare came out or something like that.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
I could probably look on here and tell you. So it's New Line. There's no date. I wish there was a date. But anyway, I just thought that was a really cool style figure. It's got like a little baby doll in it, because he's a pedo bear and all that. And
oh man, that's a definitely cool figure.
The Freddy head is in there, so you can interchange it if you actually want to, whatever. But I just like the packaging. I like the way it was it was different. Like it's a smaller, just kind of like box package. And I picked that up a couple years ago, and I think one of my children dropped it. What are you going to do? It's.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad one. That'd be a pretty cool thing to get him to sign on the front or something because it's definitely unique, you know.
But that's one of my favorites just because it's not like a typical Jason, Freddy, or anything like that. And I don't know what made him put it out, but because that's not usually like it would. I don't think it was a huge seller either, from what I can understand.
And is that did they and when they had the remake, did they ever do a Freddy or was it my thinking? Because I do remember another Freddy and just the actor. What did they do that with the other guy too, or no?
A new Freddy with what now?
Like the remake one. Did they make like a James Earl? Was that what his name? Did they make him like with no Freddy makeup or something too?
Yes, they did. I remember that one too.
Yeah.
You're talking about Jackie Earl Haley? That horrible fucking.
Yeah.
Not one. Even bleeding yet. I hate that fucking movie.
Well, that could be in the stack of shit, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. But. Yeah, Crater says one of his favorites is the Friday the 13th anniversary box set that comes with Pamela Voorhees and Jason from Part 2. That is awesome. I do not have that. I wish I did.
I have it. It is loose, though. So I have it, but it's not. I have no box. I just have the little diorama with her head on the top. And then I have Baghead Jason. Is that the one you're talking about where you can kind of connect the two pieces that they stand on? I have that. It's loose in a box. I have like a bunch of loose Necas like in my other room over there. That I used to have when I displayed at my old house. But that's one of the ones I have in there. I always loved that set. I actually think I bought it loose. There was like a collectible store and you could buy like cheap. They had like loose Necas. And I think I grabbed that set because it was because it didn't come in the box. It was cheap. But they did re-release Baghead, I guess, in Ultimate. But did we ever get Pamela in that scene again?
That's a good question, man. Somebody on here is bound to know, but I don't know.
Yeah, did we ever get the Pamela in like a very similar vein as that one that we're talking about? Well, getting into ones that it was similar to that is that Halloween with the porch setup. Do you have that?
Yes, I've got that loose. I don't know where I got it. To this day, I don't know where I got it. But I've got the whole setup. But it's just loose, and it's got the the Loomis figure and all that stuff with it.
Yeah, that's a grail for me. But at the same time, it's kind of less of a grail to me right now because they just released that Loomis set, which we can talk about later, which is very similar in vein, I guess, to that one. If you're gonna have to compare them, but at the same time, I think it was kind of smart that they still kept it a little bit different, so that one that you have still remains, pretty sought after and valuable for sure. Right. And that's another thing for me too, is there's a couple Halloween ones that I remember walking by back in the day, very similar like we talked about before. One of them we've talked about plenty of times is the damn Ghost Sheet one. I can remember walking by that and looking at it and be like, that is killer, putting it back on the shelf and then continuing on to my DVD section. And I'm bummed that I never grabbed that, and I'm hoping that someday that does get re-released in some kind of form, like an Ultimate or something, because it's easy to do. And I know a lot of people are probably craving to get that one again. And then the last one for the Halloween trio that's really valuable that I really want is the one that comes with young Michael.
Oh, yeah, the something of evil. It's like the Evolution of Evil.
Origin,
that's what it was
maybe,
called.
or something. Yeah, Evolution of Evil was like the big Michael and the small one as a child. That's the other one that I wish I had, which I don't, so...
Yeah, go try to find that one right now. Like, look at some fucking prices of that. Or the Ghost. Yeah, either one of them. It's ridiculous.
I think, honestly, I don't know if he's watching, but I think Pizzow just completed that trio of those three figures. So I think he just completed the last one, which I think he showed him on a video where he had all three of those Halloween ones, which is like the three most sought after Halloween NECAs.
Well, that is insane. He paid some money for that for sure.
Yeah.
Crater says the only other one that was the Comic-Con 2-pack of her, talking about Pamela, in a cloth figure with Ariel Lehman Jason, which is like $500 set.
Is it really? Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So, let's see.
Do you have any other grails that you can think of offhand that you never were able to attain from back in the day?
That is a good question. I mean, the main one actually is one that we were just talking about. Like, I've always wanted to have that diorama of the Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh. Now, is that still valuable, even loose? I'm sure, probably.
I'm sure it is, yeah. I have no idea, but I imagine that it is, too. What are some other ones that I don't have that I've been trying to get? For some reason, and it's not a grail or anything like that, but, like, I've just never been able to pick up the fucking Hare Krishna zombie. Like, do you remember that when they released those 3 from Dawn of the Dead? They had, like, they had, what was it?
I remember that one the most, to be honest.
Yeah, I
think
remember that one too.
Like a cool packaging it was like a bright packaging, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was completely different. Like, it was yellow with like red packaging around it. But they had the plaid shirt zombie, they had Flyboy, and then they had that one, the Hare Krishna zombie. And for some reason, I just never been able to get the Hare Krishna zombie, and I need that to complete that set. But it's like, I go on eBay and it's like $80. I'm not paying that for that fucking figure. Like, I'm just not going to do it. But other than those, not really. I mean, I like the Ghost figure that that we were talking about. I like the Evolution of Evil one, but there's no way in hell, unless I win the lottery, that I'll ever buy those. Like, it's just not going to happen.
You know what? Like, to me, it's always one of those things where, you hope one day you're driving by a yard sale and you go in and someone just got like a bucket full of those things. You're like, oh, like, I'm always kind of hoping that becomes the day, because that's like really the only way that you're going to find that for a good price. If you find it at a store, everybody knows what that thing's going for. So you're never going to, even if it's a collectible shop or whatever, loose, you're going to still pay quite a bit of money for it. So,
I'll tell you another one, though, that's worth an insane amount of money that I have no idea why. Do you remember the little diorama set from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake that they came out with?
It was like him at the table or whatever with the thing.
Yeah, that's worth a flat fortune now, too, if you have that. I don't have that.
I do not.
Sucks,
I think I actually recently just sold for pretty good money was the Leatherface from that. It was like a regular cult classic Leatherface from the remake. I think I sold that probably within the last 2 years on eBay. I think for quite a bit of money. I think it was probably almost $100. I probably sold that for. So it was just kind of one of those ones in my collection that I bought, and I kind of was like, I don't really need this one, so I tossed him away. And I have another one that's a pretty interesting one around that time that I looked at it the other day, and I was like, why do I have this? Should I just sell this? It was, you remember Elijah Wood from Sin City?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like that creepy character or whatever.
Yeah.
I have like a black and white figure of him that it's just kind of sitting there in package, and I was like, wonder if I can get good money for this, because I don't really see myself displaying it or anything like that. So if anybody knows about that figure, I'm not sure, but it's pretty old.
I've got several that I have no idea like where I got that just don't make any sense in the rest of my collection. Like I've got the Cherry figure from Planet Terror. I don't know why I have that. Like I wish to God I had the Stuntman Mike figure from that, because that's another one that's worth a flat fortune too.
Now is she worth anything?
I think it's like $30-$40. Like, it's nothing like.
How about what's her name? Jessica Biel. Is her figure worth anything? You remember it was like in that weird running pose or something?
Probably. I mean, some of those you would think would be worth a lot of money, and they're just not. Like, I don't know what the deal is. Like, some of the older ones like that are just not. But here's a question.
Danielle, I can't answer that question. I have no idea.
Answer this question. Answer this question. I'm gonna take a guess, just looking around this room and knowing like what I've got in storage, and say probably about 200. I would say I have 200 figures.
See, I don't know if I'd go that high for me, but it's up there.
Well, it's because I've got Mego.
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about figures. If you're
talking about, yeah, I'm talking about everything.
Oh, dude, I've got a couple hundred, no doubt. Because I still collect like. And it sucks too, because I'm trying to narrow my stuff down. But like, if I go into a store and I go down the aisle and I see like, give an example, like I'll see like a Bam Bam Bigelow Legend or something. Like I'll put it in my cart and walk off. Like if I see any old school Legend, but like put out now, like I'm getting it. Like for instance, Wes just found me that Sid Justice.
Oh yeah,
send it to me. And of course I'm gonna want that. I love that SummerSlam. And again, my Walmart's barely carry anything, so. I'm all about that too. Those are the ones, though, to me, it's like I look at all the time, and I have so many that I'm like, what am I going to do with these? Like, I have no idea. And those are worth a lot of money too now. Wrestling figures are big.
Oh
money.
yeah, I had two I wanted to show to you, but I didn't get them out because I'm like, it's a Neca show. But I've got an on card in the package Undertaker Hasbro, and I've got a Coco Beware on card in the package, both sealed up, and I've got a Scott Hall. I think it's the purple card. I wanted to show those two, but it's a Neca show. So
those Hasbros are worth a lot of money packaged, you know.
Oh yeah,
I would look those up. That's definitely a couple $100 figure.
yeah. But I don't know. I've had those since I was a kid, and I don't know why I kept them in the package, but fuck, here we are.
That's a good series. I have one Hasbro figure in the package. I have the Rockers still in package, and then I have a bunch of loose Hasbros. I don't have a full collection, but it's close. It's close. Let me see what these, if anybody's chiming in with anything. Yeah, so the only other thing that I have over here that's older, and it's not really a figure, but it's super unique. I talked about it before, but I never brought it in.
Holy shit!
Is this thing. Look at how big this is. He's huge.
That's
like
amazing.
A doll. And it's young Michael. And I got this at Spencer Gifts a long, long time ago. They used to have a lot of like NECA stuff. I think it might have been around the time where they had like that Glenda doll, you know, that's worth a lot of money now. And they had like I feel like they had, it might have been when Saw first came out, and they used to you could get Billy on like a bicycle. Or something.
Yeah, I came here buying that
because I thought that was such a unique item, and he's huge, and so I just have him displayed in my other room. But I think that's a pretty valuable piece now. Don't know why they made that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, it's a very odd thing for them to make, where it's just like a doll that I don't even know how tall that is. He's like probably 3 feet tall. With like real hair. It wasn't seemed like something NECA was doing at that time.
It's completely unusual, though. You're right. Like, I've never seen anything like that they did.
Oh, definitely not. And
so what year?
What year is this?
Yeah, what year did that come out?
$2007.
That's got to be worth a fucking fortune, because I know I've never seen that.
Wait a minute. I don't. You know what? Do some research. I wonder if this is NECA, because it says Compass International.
Oh, that's the studio that made Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 2007 this thing came out. Found him at Spencer Gifts at the mall, and I don't see him a lot. I don't see him very many places. And another thing, I know you're not maybe into this other stuff, and one of the big grails that I wish I had was they came out with like this Devil's Rejects mask, that metal plate that was inside,
the one that
like
had the cross on it or whatever.
Yeah, that was in a shadow box. They were doing those for a little while, like shadow box stuff. There was also with Freddy versus Jason one where you had the Freddy the Jason mask, and the glove was like in the front. Those are two that I don't own, that I always kind of have on my saved listings on eBay, but they never pop up for anything under like a couple $100. So I never pulled the trigger on those, but those are two items that I would love to add to my collection.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that I would love to have, but I'm just not paying money for it. But somebody mentioned this one, so this is literally how I have this, like, packaged. This is how it's packaged.
Wow.
So, I'm just going to unpackage it here, because I'm anal retentive like that. But this is the one that he mentioned. I know you have this figure. You probably got it sitting around there somewhere. Yeah. So that is the NECA San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that came with little Ari Lehman. Little Ari right there.
Oh, cute.
Clothed. And then Pamela. And there's another Pamela that they just released, like a regular Pamela, that I think this one's actually better. Like in this set, I think the look of it is actually better.
Well, wait a minute. What other one do they have? I think the only other one I have is like that one with all the crap all over her face. Is there another one?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The one that like she looks like she just got out of the lake, right?
Right. Yeah.
Part 3 or whatever. Okay. Yeah, I love this figure, man. I mean, I remember when they announced this, to have a Pamela Voorhees figure that resembles Betsy Palmer so much, and to have a little Jason in there, like I was like, dude, I think the same thing happened. I think I contacted, it might have been like Chris Ott or something like that, from London, 1988. I think I'm like, are you at Comic-Con? And he's like, yeah, I have a booth. I'm like, dude, you've got to get me this figure. So I think I sent him money, and I think he got it for me. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I love this thing, man. Love it.
I got that from at the time. My girlfriend Savannah bought it it was a couple weeks after it came out on eBay, and she paid something like $50 for it, and it's worth like whatever the hell it's worth.
Yeah, it's worth
now.
a lot now. Yeah. And
So
what's
I'm
even
super,
funnier
super
is
glad.
if you guys didn't know, I remember like after this first came out, I think like Ari Lehman like would bring a couple to his booth and like sell them signed or something. So I don't know how much he was charging for that, but I mean at the same time it could have been an easy way to get it. I don't know how.
Give me 20. No,
Do you think
I'm sure
maybe he contacted Neca like, if you want to use my likeness, you better give me some of those figures.
I'm sure it was more than $20 for some reason.
Look at that little face, dude, on there. Look at that thing.
I know. It's
Money right
amazing.
there. It's a little Camp Crystal Lake shirt.
But I wanted to show like one more.
Sure.
And I just recently got this one. I thought this was a cool design. The Jason X
That's awesome.
Movie Maniacs.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's just so unique, man.
Something about that, yeah, is completely different than any other figure that I have. And it's got to do with the the packaging, the pose, the design, and all that too. So that came out of Series 5 of Movie Maniacs. There was really nothing else in that, by the way. Wishmaster, Tooth Fairy, T2. That's the one.
Okay, so the one that I have that I was going to bring out that I thought for sure you had was Jason Goes to Hell.
God damn, I don't know if I have that or not. I may not have that.
I'll go get it. It's actually really nice. You know what? I feel that I have a bunch of the actually I have all of the so far except for this new one, the Jason Ultimates. You know, they kind of just come straight. I like that those have like that cool pose.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
But I looked at the back and I was like, oh, I wonder who else was in this Movie Maniac set. And a lot of weird, odd stuff. Like you just said, Tooth Fairy. Like I looked at the back of his and it was like so-and-so from Species 2. And I was like, I don't even know who this person is. Like it was like two people from Species 2 were like in that line or whatever. It's just a lot of odd stuff going on in that line.
Yeah, and that for some reason that line's not very popular. Like none of those other figures ever really like took off. I don't know. I mean, in that series,
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. So yeah,
Dude.
Maybe that might be.
I remember seeing that Blair Witch in like a junk bin
Let's
at
see.
KB Toys, and I was like, for like on clearance, I was like, I remember saying to my girlfriend at the time, I was like, no wonder why it's in clearance. It's the Blair Witch toy. Nobody knows what the hell a Blair Witch looks like. But just have a figure. Like it just never really made sense to me why Blair Witch had a figure. Nobody ever saw her.
That's true, and I hate that figure too. It looks like trash.
I don't even know
But
how
I've
to
got
get
it.
that design.
I've
Oh, you
got that
have it?
shit over there somewhere. It's
Oh my
it's
God.
loose somewhere in this house. Yeah.
That's
Stinking up
classic.
the
Like,
place.
how did they find that? Like, what did that design come from? Am I missing something? Or
Wasn't she shown in part 2? Isn't that where that design came
I
from?
don't know. You're gonna watch it soon, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to do a commentary over it. So yeah, well,
So
I'm
you'll
pretty
probably get that
sure.
answer.
I'm pretty sure they show her in part 2, and I'm pretty sure that's where that shit comes from. Unfortunately.
Geek Room Life asked if we found NECA 7 in the wild yet. No, but stupid me, I got a link yesterday someone sent, and they said it's live on Target, and I went to sign in, and I'm like, screw that, I'm not paying shipping. And then my friend's like, oh, well, if you buy a card or whatever, you won't have to pay shipping. So I went home, signed up for like a credit card, went back to buy it, and it was already sold out. So
Oh god.
I don't know the story on that one. For some reason, like all the other Jasons are pretty easy to find in the wild, or they were. So I don't know why this one is giving everybody such a hard time. I mean, now I'm starting to panic because before I was like, oh, I'm going to find it on Target like every other Jason that's still sitting there. But no, I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, that I didn't even know that there was a controversy about that. Really, is that one of the Ultimate figures?
Yeah.
I see. I don't.
Part
I don't.
7.
I don't collect a lot of Ultimate figures anymore, so I don't
Oh, you
keep
don't?
up with
Okay.
that as much. Yeah. But okay, so I think we're done with the past.
We're done with
So,
the past.
Let's move into the present and see what like's been coming out recently. I guess.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect one. I'm going to show this one really quick. I guess you could say this is past/present. This was kind of a re-release. I think that this was a regular figure, maybe like a cult classic, and then they just re-released it as an ultimate, which is super cool. It's that tech noir one where he's got that badass 80s clubbing gear or whatever in here.
Yeah.
This was always something I wanted that I never got. So when I saw this had come out again on a re-release, I made sure to snag it because that's my favorite Terminator Arnold outfit. So I wanted to make sure to grab that one. And that was another one I think I passed on at Toys R Us like 100 times when it was originally out. So I made sure to grab that when I found it.
That figure, I've seen that. Like, there's a local, like, I don't know what you call it. It's not really a comic book store, but like just a collectible store. And they've got that one and a couple of the Alien ones and the Predator ones and things like that. They've got a lot of the older figures and stuff too, but like they're higher than hell. Like any collectible store right now is just insanely high.
Keep your eye on I'm trying to see the date on this. Keep your eye on Walmart because honestly, dude, I only found this probably within the last maybe year or two. And I know this was sold out for a while, so for whatever reason, I feel like Walmart like is throwing out things that have like been gone for a while. So that's where I would check for anybody that's looking for that one.
So, are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. So
Yeah,
it's got one of those covers that makes it impossible to just like hold it up to any kind of light.
Yeah,
Because it's like the
the
lenticular style.
Yeah.
So, but this is the Thing Ultimate Mccreedy that I got from Target one day when I was just dicking around over there. So let's open it up and see what kind of fun is inside. So, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's
Now,
got
how's the
multiple.
likeness? Pretty good.
I thought so. I thought it was pretty amazing. Yeah, especially the different kind of interchangeable heads. So you've got like 2 different interchangeable heads. You got like 5 different interchangeable hands. You got the lantern. You've got dynamite. You've got his scotch, which you have to have that, and the hat and the shotgun that he has too. And yeah, so apparently I didn't know that these were hard to find. If they are, then I don't know. Go to Target because that's where I found this one.
I've been searching all my Targets. I haven't found them. So I think I could probably get them on Big Bad. I mean, I think by the end of the night tonight, you can probably talk me into doing a live purchase. So
yeah.
when you bring up Candyman again, I'm sure I can go do a big purchase haul in front of everybody. So if anybody wants to watch me do a live buy, let me know because it might end up happening.
Like the best part of this thing to me, honestly, is the package. Like you really have to see it because the lighting for it in here is like really not great. But like the way they packaged it and the entire thing is awesome. Like it just kind of jumps off at you.
Well, you know
like
what?
You
if Neca was smart, I know they came out and said that was going to be a Target exclusive, and I think it was coming out around like Father's Day or something. I think there was like this whole thing around it. And then they released that it was going to be available everywhere. If they were smart, they would have at least maybe made the packaging like just the same logo, but not lenticular, just to differentiate like the re-release. So then, it would at least have some kind of collector more value on that edition. That's what I would have done. So it just at least people wouldn't get so pissed if they paid top dollar for that thing.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was not cheap either. Those Ultimate figures are like $30 no matter where the hell you buy them at. But
Can
you're
you
right,
believe
though.
how much everything costs now? It's insane.
No, like I really can't. Like I had to buy that just because of what it is, and like the Thing is up there in my top probably 3 favorite movies of all time. So But Jesus Christ, dude, like they're really gouging the fuck out of people nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It really is in comparison to like we were spending $4.99 on action figures when we were a kid. It's just crazy on how much some of these things go for. I try not to spend over $30 for something. Usually, I try to stay within that range unless it's like a 2-pack or something like that. I'm looking around now. Now, I can talk about this one. It's an Ultimate, but there's some cool stuff about this one. So we got the Halloween 2. I think this is pretty readily available still. But what I liked about this one is not only did you get the jack-o'-lantern, you got the little blood eyes, but you got Ben Tramer head. Now,
oh, okay.
I was always, and it's so weird to say this, but like that, my brother and I were like, we saw Halloween 2 first as kids, and I can remember that scene where he got hit by the ambulance or whatever and blew up, and we were sitting there like, he's already dead, like, you know, and then all of a sudden they came out, it was like a different Myers. Then we always found it funny because we'd rewatch it and we would like laugh because he's so scared, the blonde hair's all over the place, he's holding like a candy bag or whatever. And for some whatever reason, I just came so infatuated with that Tramer. So like, I was down right away when Trick or Treat Studios brought out that Tramer mask. I got that displayed in like the front and center of my collection over there. I love that thing. So yeah, when I knew you could do a Ben Tramer swap, that's why I was so all about that one. Not only that I love Halloween 2, big fan of Halloween 2, but to have Tramer in there was a plus for me.
By the way, that scene in that movie is just, there's something fucking hilarious about it. Because I think they speed it up a little bit too when he's like walking into it. So it just looks, it looks so silly. He's just like, yeah, he's like looking at it, he's like walking real fast and then just boom.
Like he looks scared, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just a great scene. So we got some comments here. We spent like a shit ton of money. Yeah, we're aware that we spend a shit ton of money. Do we ever plan on reselling these? It depends on how bad my life gets. We'll see.
That's my exact answer. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's very good businessman, I would say, and we were discussing going to a convention next weekend around my area. And he's kind of into this stuff too, but he's not a hardcore collector like all this stuff. But it's funny because he always like says like, oh, you're a sickness, you're gonna sickness, da 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 da. And I was like, I know. He's like, at least it's something that you can always you buy and then sell. So in actuality, the way the world is right now, it's considered probably an asset. So and then I looked at it, I go, oh yeah, okay, then I kind of feel better about myself.
Yeah, well, it is true. Like there's all these collectibles for some reason or another right now anyway hold their value. Now I remember, but when I was a kid, like buying, we're talking about the mid '90s, like buying baseball cards, basketball cards. Yep. That stuff ain't worth shit now. Like you couldn't get rid of that stuff. Like
I would be careful, dude. Baseball cards and shit, they are big money now. Again, don't tell me how this happened, because if you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have said biggest waste of money ever. I mean, how could you even predict, dude, this guy's going to be the greatest ever? I think I bought like 100 Hideo Nomo rookie cards because everybody told me this thing was going to be worth like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and Hideo Nomo's career lasted like a season, and those things became like worthless. So I have a whole book of like Hideo Nomos because I was promised that these things would be big money. So to me, I thought baseball cards were like the biggest waste, because the gamble was you never knew who was going to make it and be a big star. Like luckily, Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite player, so he ended up becoming a good player. But you'd be surprised, like cards now are hot, and I don't know why. Again, I still falls in the same line of how can we predict if current cards are really big? But I do know they're doing a lot of special stuff now where like you'll get autographed cards and stuff inside, or you might get a piece of someone's jersey molded into the card. Like there's big stuff on there, but do your research on sports cards right now and see what those are going for, because even, you know what else? Even wrestling cards.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know those wrestling cards when we were kids?
Well, the ones that got me, and I think we talked about this not too long ago, not to go too far off topic, but the ones that got me were the comic book cards. Like, I don't know if you were, I used to buy those. Like, I used to buy boxes of those, seriously, when I was a kid. And you get like holograms out of them. Like, they were the Marvel packs. They had some DC packs, but mostly Marvel. And some of them were like really high quality, like Flair made like a showcase kind of series of them and stuff like that. Those are actually starting to go up. They weren't worth shit forever, and they're actually starting to be like worth money now.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, the whole market has been crazy now. I mean, hopefully it's something that stays because being a collector, you want what you like to be actually valuable. And it makes you feel a little bit better about why you do it and why you're hunting things and chasing things down like a maniac and going to stores 3 times a day to find an exclusive. Like, it makes you feel not so insane knowing that like you have something of value. So as of right now, yeah, like they are considered assets. And I would rather spend my money on something like this, where if I ever did get into like a hard time, I know I can make some money back, than go and piss it away on like alcohol for like $100 or so a week and then just, eat or drink myself, and then not have anything else to show for it. That's kind of always been my mindset on like why I do this, is like I could be doing other things and not get anything in return kind of thing. So that's my justification. But yeah, my friend made me feel good when he was like, oh yeah, I was doing research and a lot of that stuff is considered assets at this point. I was like, well, all right, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Well,
and I said, no, I guess I'm doing all right then.
Even if it wasn't, I wouldn't give a shit at this point. Like, I'm still going to collect it. I mean, regardless of anybody like cares or not.
I mean, dude, somebody just brought Ice Ice Buoy. Oh, we'll go on that in a second.
Well, this is a good point. He says people will work their life away to buy back feelings of a child. Looking at that piece gives them something. To a certain degree or another, I think that's true. It's all about nostalgia, and like you're looking for. There's 2 different things that's going on. Like in my opinion, like people want to have something that other people don't have. That's the kind of like the power kind of thing about like collecting. And then the other part of it is like the nostalgia part of it, which is like you. A lot of these things remind you of like a different period of your life. I agree with that. I think that can be good or bad depending on how you. So you don't want to get stuck in that.
Is you want things that people can't have, like the power thing? Why I haven't sold my Slumber Party Massacre double pack Blu-ray yet?
Yes, because
that's why.
Seriously, to God,
I got it. Do I?
It doesn't make any other sense other than the fact that you can say I've got that and everybody else doesn't have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
You know what? You're right though, because I own those movies a bunch of other times, and it's not a movie that I watch ever, really. I mean, so I think it really is. Do I make $250 on it, or do I just hold it and say, "Look what I got"? And it's sad that that's the way things are. It's because then you become afraid to get rid of things.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, you can do whatever you want to. I mean, with it, I mean, you can keep it forever or whatever because that's something that you collect. And like you were talking about before, I have the same kind of problem. I can't. It kills me to get rid of anything. I don't know why that is, but like. Anything that I own, to the thought of selling it is like just, I don't know. Maybe it's a hoarder's kind of thing. I'm not sure.
I agree. I really do agree because I have that issue too.
But yeah, he's right. Crater's right too. The pandemic has brought back a lot of this shit.
Well, if you look at it too, and I don't know how many people follow business and stuff like that, but you guys know Gary Vee, right? He's like the one of the biggest like entrepreneurs out there. Makes tons of money, and if you go on his social media, he's the type of guy who's like a friggin' millionaire, and he's going to yard sales and buying shit really cheap and flipping it online for big money, and he collects action figures and baseball cards as a hobby because he knows that it's like to him it's a nostalgia thing. He likes to collect it, but at the same time he knows that at this point in time like he can flip that for big money. And we've talked about this before, is that a lot of times too, people with power in a sense, or people with a voice that has a big following, can actually raise how valuable something is based on them just hyping it up. Perfect example is I am addicted to Zack Ryder's podcast where they talk about wrestling figures. Yep. And what they'll do is they'll talk about a certain wrestling figures that they're really collecting or they're really getting into, and all of a sudden you go on eBay and those prices start coming up. Right now they're really hyping up Bend-Ems. WWE Bend-Ems to me were like the worst of the worst. I had a couple and I remember being like, these suck, I don't want these. So I never bought any more, but they're coming out with their own line of Bend-Ems that match the old ones. So all of them now that are part of that group are collecting all those old Bend-Ems so they can utilize their Bend-Ems to match with the old ones. So you go online now and Bend-Ems are going for big money. Like it's starting to rise because it's what people want now. So it becomes supply and demand type thing. And man, it's just crazy on how much things can rise up just due to hype, at this point.
I hope to God that we get to the point where we can do that, because I'm going to be like, man, that fucking Tooth Fairy figure is one of the best things. And then I'll sell that like within 2 days. Or I'll be any of that stuff like that came out I'll be like that Radu figure from Full Moon Entertainment, man. That thing's off the fucking chain, and then people will just like start buying it up, and I can finally get rid of that.
You'll see I'm taking notes on how they do things. So,
by the way, those Full Moon figures are awful, and none of them are really worth anything. Like even the new, we'll get to that later though. The new Puppet Master figures that are coming out, like talk about that too.
I'm interested to hear what you say about that. By the way,
I have some thoughts. This is the last one I got for the present.
Oh boy. Okay.
You probably have this geared up too. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is the best, in my opinion, the best representation of an actor that I've ever seen. I don't know what it is. Like whoever did the sculpting of that, it looks dead on, exactly like Robert Shaw. Like it just does. Now, the stuff that goes with it, like the beer cans, the crushed beer cans, and the spear and the machete and things like that, it's the clothed figure, too, of Quint. And, I mean, I wish I could get that to where anybody could actually see it, but...
I can try and see if I get it, but I don't think I'm going to get much better.
It's amazing.
It's pretty good. But, yeah, it is super cool, and it is sad that we're not going to get... the other one there, Brody, because I know he was meant for the line, but it got canceled at the last minute because of rights or something like that. But what I am looking for, and I will spend big money if we get the Shark, a huge NECA Bruce. I mean, I am down for that. I'm going to say now, and I think I've said it before, anything Jaws stays valuable for some reason. And it goes back to... You know those damn reaction figures? That's a line that I've stayed clear from since the beginning. They even had Karate Kid, and I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the reactions. And they had Jaws, and they had like a Bruce, and he was like about like that big. It wasn't anything impressive. Then there was like a variant that you could get that was like bloody. And I must have walked by that thing 10 times. That's big money now. Those damn Jaws reactions. So every time I see something Jaws, I'm all over it because it keeps its value, and it's not something that stays around a long time.
No, there's certain properties that do hold their value. Jaws is definitely one of them. And then there's certain other properties where I feel like they make so much of it, like fucking Predator and Aliens, where it's like, it's never going to be worth anything, really. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Well, if you guys want to know more about Jaws, make sure to check out our last stream talking about Cruel Jaws and Severin and all that stuff. So check that out if you like talking some Jaws, because we get into some Jaws-related stuff on that. But, yeah, Jaws is a line, like we said, that is super important, super valuable, and that's probably why, Universal holds it really tight, because they do know the value of a movie like that.
Well, that was actually one of our more popular live streams, and... I mean, the controversy behind that is well worth people watching. So, yeah, if you haven't watched that, definitely check it out.
And not many people have actually... I've looked, and there's not many videos about that either, which is interesting.
I don't think many people knew what the hell was going on, or even enough to, like, comment on or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to show one more here, just kind of in the same line. And I'm sure you might have it over there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But we got our cloth Piper from They Live, which again is another one, and I'm not sure if it has to do with the actors and the likenesses, but that and Quint are already pretty sought after, and they're brand new. Like those are only a couple months old, and they're not readily available for whatever reason.
No, you were talking about the Piper one. Like I had that one, and I had no idea that like it was already kind of rare because like they just they come out and you think, well, they'll mass produce them. But some of those, man, for some reason, they just take off. Like, I don't know the story behind was it Keith David or David Keith? Or I always get them confused. Like, one of them's two completely different guys, but, like, I get their names confused. But that came with, the Screen Factory set. And so you got that. I thought that would be the rare one, but you can still get that pretty easily. It's
I think he might still be on the website, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Piper one that got to be like rare.
But that's another issue current. What's going on is that Screen Factory and NECA are making these deals where they'll release some figures exclusively if you buy specific items from Scream Factory, which we've talked about before, which we think is one of the best things that Scream Factory does, because as collectors of both physical media and Neca's, to get something unique and exclusive to me is always going to prompt me to buy it. Like, I think that's why I have all those steelbooks, is because I wanted the figure, but I didn't need the steelbook because I already had the Blu-ray. So I've sold a lot of my steelbooks, but kept all my figures. But now there's a problem, because what did they do the first time that got people pissed? They did this before, and then they promised that it would never happen again, and now it's going to happen again. What was one of the first? The damn Silent Night, Deadly Night one.
Oh yeah.
So they released Silent Night, Deadly Night exclusive to Scream Factory, so everybody bought it with the figure,
and then I remember that.
Later, NECA released it in like stores, and people were bullshit saying that we were promised this was the only way we would ever get this thing. And I was listening to a podcast, and the guys from Scream Factory said that there was some kind of error where in the contract it was like they didn't notice the date, like they only had exclusivity till this point, and then they were gonna then they didn't have it anymore. But then they said, we're gonna make sure this never happens again. We're gonna make sure that it's exclusive. And now there's word coming out, where we know is that the same deal is gonna happen with the Bloody Valentine figure. So that's gonna be re-released at stores, which again we bought an edition to get it.
Yeah, let me just say this: like, Scheme Factory will always have an angle on everything. Like, if you think anything's really exclusive from them and that it's not going to come back out, like, I'd bet anything that they re-release those fucking pins and those vinyls and shit after that set sells out. Like, it doesn't matter to them. It really, literally does not matter to them. They're just in it for like making as much money as they can. And you're right, though. I remember seeing the Silent Night, Deadly Night figure at like an FYE that was in the plastic rather than in the box. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's how the Bloody Valentine's going to be displayed as well. Same idea. It's going to be in that.
Just bullshit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, because if you're going to do something like that, as cool as it was, like, you gotta stick to it, sadly. Like, you've got to make it exclusive. That's how the toy business, I guess, works, because if it doesn't, then everybody's going to be afraid to buy the product next time. So unless you keep your word, that's where it gets a little bit tough.
Scheme Factories,
before,
they're not known for doing that.
We like, man, how about an Angela? How cool of a figure would that be?
That would be amazing. Sleepaway Camp,
you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know how easy this would be to do? Felicia Rose would sign off on an Angela figure in 2 seconds from NECA. 2 seconds. It wouldn't even be a question. So either if anybody of power is listening from there or Scream Factory or whatever, Angela figure would be killer. I don't care if it's exclusive to Scream or not, but I'm telling you, there's no she's like, she'd be all over it. I mean, she's living the gimmick right now. Why wouldn't she want an action figure?
She is. I mean, if you haven't checked out our cameo video, it's a good segue into that. Check out our horror celeb cameo video, because she's on it and she's living the gimmick. I'll tell you, she right now.
She is, honestly, I talked about this before, is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met when it comes to celebrities at conventions. I met her a couple times and she was super nice, and maybe she remembered me, maybe she didn't, but the second time I met her, she was like, oh my God, I remember you, and who the hell knows if she did or not, but she was right, because I had met her a couple of years before. But I mean, such a nice person, and I wish she would get something like that, because she deserves it. She's great to her fans, and I think that she definitely is an icon in the horror industry that people would go nuts for an action figure.
I do too. There's a lot of them though. People, if you want to like comment on who you think would be a good NECA figure to come out that hasn't already been released, that would be a cool kind of thing to hear, because we've talked about some of ours before.
Has there ever been a Hills Have Eyes figure of Bateman, or no?
Not that I know of, no.
I mean, how iconic would that be?
There may have been like a reaction figure or something like that, but I know there's never been like a NECA or anything like that, because I would own it.
Back when they did all the Dawns and stuff, they never had a Hills Have Eyes or anything like that? Okay.
Nope.
That'd be so killer.
Look at this shit. Yeah, this would be great. A vampire Corey Feldman from Bordello Blood. Yeah.
I'd use him as a frog brother. So yeah, bring him out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about this one really quick, and then I'm going to get into some other stuff based on what you have.
Okay.
So another cool thing that NECA does, and I don't know if you ever bit into any of these, is they do like accessory packs. Have you ever seen these things?
Yeah, they had one for Nightmare on Elm Street. They had like the
Yeah. So
boiler room and all that.
yeah, so they had one that was like a boiler room. Then they did one for Friday the 13th, which was like a dock, and it had a bunch of accessories from like a camp that you could display them with and stuff. They've done it with a bunch of other lines. I think Pennywise had one where it comes with the sewer and you can put him inside it, so he's looking out and all this stuff. So the Elm Street one that I have is killer. I'm going to show you two things that I actually have displayed in my movie room. One hanging on the wall in a small little spot, one on a shelf, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, this accessory pack, and again, this could be still available. These two things alone is worth a buy. So the first one, which has a little hole in the back that you can hang on your wall, is this.
That's awesome.
How killer is that? So you got your little Freddy, prime time. So this is hanging up on my wall right above my little snack bar here. And then check this guy out.
Oh, there it is. It's the Worm Freddy. Yep.
But he's huge, dude. Look at this.
He is. He looks like a turd. Looks like a giant turd.
So I have this guy displayed right next to my my Freddy glove on a shelf. But I mean, just on these two things alone,
That's pretty badass.
I felt like
yeah.
that accessory pack was so worth it because you got some cool items. But like, these are basically like two figures, in my opinion. Little small thing, but whatever. But I was like, you know what? This was such a cool pack. I wanted to kind of bring this out because it could be something that I feel like people may have overlooked. But there's some cool stuff in there that are great for display. Like this guy even has like a display stand that you put him on.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a cool item to have, and you might still be able to get that accessory pack relatively easy. I'm not sure, but don't sleep on that one. That's a good one.
I've seen that too before, and I just never bought it for whatever reason. I don't know why. I never bought any real accessory packs or anything like that. But that's pretty badass. I got to give you
Yeah,
that.
it's cool.
All right, so I don't have anything else. If you want to move into the...
I've got actually a lot more, but
Oh, shit.
I'll run through them quick because I wanted to bring it out because I know that you don't, but I'm thinking maybe other people in this chat do. So I don't just do exclusively horror when it comes to NECA. I think that NECA has done some really cool stuff outside of horror recently that I wanted to bring to the table. And I'll just show really quick. Like, guys, you see back there, I've got a hoverboard, I got a skateboard, I got the damn sneakers over there, I've got posters. I love Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite movies. So when they came out with their own line, I was all about it. You know, if you take a look here, I can't even see, but man, you've got Marty McFly in his classic gear here. The little backpack, it's got the skateboard, it's got the little guitar. I highly recommend some of the Back to the Future lines. The next one I have is Marty again, but this is that cool outfit he had on at the beginning when he was doing the rock concert at the at the school. So again, just wanted to showcase some Back to the Future stuff because such a cool line to have. I'm going to jump back here really quick and grab two things that I forgot I had. And you're going to be like, oh, I should have brought this out. Because I think one of these is probably one of the best things that NECA has done. First one I'm going to showcase is, of course, when Karate Kid got released, I was all over it. I grabbed every single one. I even have a San Diego Comic-Con Martin Cove exclusive over there. But this one to me is like one of those figures that I've always dreamed of having. Was the Skeleton Johnny.
Love that figure.
That to me was a must-have, and I think that's the best one in the line. The thing about the Karate Kid line is I don't think the likenesses are great at all. I think they're actually pretty bad. Probably some of the worst likenesses I've seen NECA do, and I don't know why that is, and I don't know if maybe that's why they're not doing anymore. It was like one and done with a line, and that's it. Now I think other companies have got them, like Diamond Select, I think, has them now, or Icon Heroes, or somebody else is coming out with Karate Kid now, but not NECA. So I don't know if there was something weird with that. This is horror, and I'm surprised you didn't talk about it, because to me, this is probably one of the best things NECA's done, and it's these right here.
I've got that right back there behind me, yeah. I agree with you completely, though.
Man, is unbelievable. Like, who would have ever thought that we were going to get the three damn little kids with the masks on from Halloween 3 as action figures? Not I. And the detail on these things are awesome. They come with alternate masks. I mean, these things are killer. I'm so glad that I have that. So if you guys have any thoughts on those, let me know. Another line that I highly recommend, and to be honest, it is probably my favorite line in all of NECA right now, and it's the Ninja Turtle movie line.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Man, like this. And here's the thing: NECA and Ninja Turtles right now is like that's like their biggest thing. I think like they do cartoon, they do video game, they do movie. I'm only doing movie. I can't. It's too much. It's craziness. They're expensive. They're hard to find. It's brutal. If you're a Ninja Turtles collector out there, man, I feel bad for you because you cannot get these things anywhere. Like, I've barely ever seen these things in stores. But I've been after the movie ones, and I'm pretty caught up. I think I have like one pack I've still got to try to get. But this is one I wanted to showcase just because it is so badass. You got your Casey Jones. See, it's damn light. And you got your Raphael from that cool scene.
The undercover Raphael, yeah.
Yeah, after he was done seeing Critters. Remember that?
Yep.
See Critters. One I wanted to really showcase, too. This is probably my favorite set that they've done. I just don't want this to get in the way. It's huge, man. These dudes
Jesus. Yeah.
From Part 2, Toka and Razar. The detail on these guys is insane, man, and they are huge figures. Like if you look how big these guys are, they're huge. So I'm loving that line. They also do a Fig line. Freaking Shredder right there. They have Super
Jesus.
Shredder. So if anybody out there is into the Turtle stuff, I've got pretty much all of the movie. I think I need a couple. And then they're getting obscure with it, and I just got this one in. And it's April O'Neil, but it's Judith Hogue.
Is that the ultimate April O'Neil?
It's
so
the ultimate
cute.
April with she signed off on it, so it's got her likeness and stuff. And I've actually got one coming in the mail that's signed by her. She did like a signing on some, so... Got that. And then what's funny is they do like a loot crate where they'll put an exclusive figure if you buy their loot crate. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have,
and
yeah.
I ordered the movie Turtle one because it and this is so random. It comes with Danny. I don't know if you remember him from the first one. He was like the redhead kid who joined the Foot Clan. He was like the bat. Like, yeah, so they came out with him and he's got the Sid Vicious like shirt on from the movie and stuff. And it's got his likeness and all that. So I have that coming from a loot crate, and that's probably like one of the most obscure figures I think I'm gonna own is that Danny. Like, who would have ever thought as a kid watching the movie they're gonna be like, oh, in 30 years they're gonna have a Danny figure? Like, it's just crazy to me. It was so crazy that my brother, who collects nothing, bought it because he was like, dude, what, Danny figure? So he bought one because he was just so astounded. He wanted to have it like on his desk because it was just so out of left field, but so badass at the same time. I love when they do this stuff that's kind of, off the walls there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to think that, like, NECA is only horror films because they got, like, 1,000 different lines. And they do some great stuff. They do some, like, you talk about, like, out there kind of stuff. They had, like, the Golden Girls. They've got Ace Ventura. They've had, like Weird Al.
That, for sure. Yeah. But, which is cool, but you go down a rabbit hole and then it's like, when does it end? Like, that's kind of how I looked at it. So I had to do my best to just keep myself inside a little hole as I could. So I said, okay, only movie Turtles. That's it. I'll do Back to the Future. I mean, that line can't go on forever. I'll do Karate Kid because the same thing. That line can't go on forever.
I'm betting that there's people out there that buy every one of them. Like, whatever NECA puts out, like, they buy
sure of it. But I have no idea how. I mean, even if you just wanted to say that someone was an all-in on Turtles, man, I don't know how you do it. It's insane. They're all expensive. They're hard to find. I mean, and they release like a couple every month. But I do have right here a really one. I think it's my last one I want to show. And this thing was a pain in the butt to find. I actually had to contact a friend that I knew from an old job that I had that worked at Target to get me this thing.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was this and now again people are gonna be like, you said you're only doing movie. To me, this is movie, and I'm gonna show you. I know it's not technically movie, but it's not cartoon. It's more to me movie because it's live action. And look, it comes in this.
Oh, that's amazing.
This was exclusive to something. I don't know what it was exclusive to. Target maybe, but it was definitely exclusive to Target. I don't know if it was like a Comic-Con type thing. But if you guys can see this, I've actually never really taken this out.
Oh, wow.
This was from that. Remember when they did that rock and roll concert?
Yes.
That was super cheesy back in the day. That's what this is from. So it was like when you would go to like, it was like, seriously, they went on tour in like the early 90s. And yeah, so they randomly, I think it was like an exclusive, they put out those figures. Again, who'd have ever thought some stupid thing that they did in the early 90s, and they went on tour for like one tour, dressed up in these costumes doing music as turtles that they were going to call it action figures. So, and man, those things are sweet looking, beautiful, so bright and vibrant. Love them.
Apparently, they're really difficult to get, as John Crisp says.
Yeah, those things were. I had to have an inside source on those because you could not get those things at all. It was like a goose chase trying to find those things. So I had to contact someone inside at Target and basically was like, as soon as you find out these things are on a truck, you need to call me. And that's basically what she did. And I dropped everything and went down there and waited until she came out of the back with it because I think they were only getting like 2 at a time in or something like that for a little bit.
Stuntman Mark wants to know if either one of us has the NECA Tim Curry Pennywise with 3 interchangeable heads. I've got that over there. I could go dig it out.
But I have it. I have an ultimate Tim Curry Pennywise. I don't know if it's got 3 heads in there, but I do have an ultimate Pennywise from that era.
Okay, so
someone says, "Do we get the Jason Hawks?" I sold a bunch. I have like the 8-bit one, and I think I might have like the Roy one, and that's it. But honestly, they are worth a lot. So, I don't know if you have them.
No, I never got that. I never got into that. I have like a bunch. I have a bunch of Jason like actual masks and stuff that people have made through the years, including CK when he used to make them. That actually look pretty killer. But no, I don't have any of the ones that were sanctioned by them or anything.
I'm gonna say though, honestly, they are worth quite a bit, but they're not the best masks at all. Like the quality is crap. It's like a toy. It doesn't feel like a real mask. So, I mean, again, if I was you, I would say don't waste your money because they're going for big bucks online. I don't think they're good quality masks. If you find one in the wild and pick it up just to sell it, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right, so we've got a lot of shit. We've been through a lot of shit. And so now let's look into the future and see what NECA is getting ready to come out with. Are you ready? I'll just name some of these things and you can comment on them. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know how much like alien shit you want me to go through, but they've got like alien shit coming out their ass. So
you know what? I'm always like, I've stayed away from Alien, but when you get to the older movies and it's like Ripley in that machine or, you know, those do like tug at me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, how sick would that be to get Ripley in that robot or whatever, you know?
Wait. Okay. So, hold on. You mentioned this. I've got to show it. God. I've just been waiting for an excuse to show this.
Dude. Oh, it's the old one?
It's the old power loader.
That's awesome, man. I remember having that line as a kid. I had a couple. I think I might still have like Drake and what's his name there? Apone or whatever his name left. But yeah, Ripley. But dude, I never had that power loader. That thing's sweet, man. Did you always have it or you just got it?
I bought this at a yard sale, man. Like probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago or something like that. And it's still in pretty good shape, actually. But yeah, it's the Space Marine power loader from Aliens. It's the old Kenner, I think. Yeah, the old Kenner one.
That's probably worth something, you know.
I had no idea, to be honest.
It's in box.
It is. It's never been opened either. It's still got like the little seal thing on it. But I just had that sitting back there because I didn't know if we'd be talking about Aliens
Hey,
or
yeah,
not.
I mean, there are some aliens that I look at and I'm like, man, I would love to have a power loader. I would love to have Ripley. And I know they have one, or it's coming out, or it's out, or it's sold out. I don't know. But there is a NECA one out there. But I don't own it. So what's
I
coming
can
out for Alien?
Yeah, I can tell you that there's just a couple of like alien figures out coming out in the fall. There's a Panther alien, which I don't really know how to describe it to you. And then there's a Ultimate Night Cougar alien.
Cougar.
Cougar alien. Yeah, it's gonna bang all your young friends. Like it's the Cougar alien. I wish to God that I knew how to do like screen share shit on this. I would like
I know, right?
show the.
It's, you know what? I can only imagine it's probably now. Is it cartoony? Like, because I know they were re-releasing some of the stuff that came out in that Kenner line, but like more detailed. Is it something like that, or is it just like a black alien in like a? Weird pose?
It's just a black alien in a weird pose. Hold on.
So at this point,
damn.
they're just making up shit. Then basically.
They are. Let me see if I can do this. Please let this work.
All right, if we shut down, you'll know why.
Yeah.
And I do like the Alien Queen. I've seen that around, and I'm gonna probably kick myself in the butt if I don't pick it up and all of a sudden it's gone. Because I swear to God, I see that thing at Walmart every time I go. I pick it up, look at it, and then I put it down.
Yeah, I'm probably going to explode the entire thing if I try to do this. So fuck it. Just use your imagination. Go on Neca's website. Also, though, and I am pretty interested in this. I know you will be too. In fall, part of the fall line that they're coming out with is the 7-inch Ultimate Michael Myers Halloween Kills figure.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get that. I have the other ones, the other Ultimate ones. I think we've talked about this before. You know what other one is always like I pick it up and I always put it down is that damn 2018 Cloth Myers.
Yep, me too.
I never pull the trigger on it. I don't know if it's because like to me it's like just very plain. Like there's nothing about it, not like accessories or anything. It's just in a small little box and I always pick it up and I'm like, and I put it back. But I know what's going to happen is it's eventually going to go bye-bye and then I'm going to be like, I should have grabbed it.
Well, like you said, there's no way in hell you can buy all this stuff, man. Like it's impossible. But that figure, I mean, looking at it, it comes with like a skeleton head, the knives, the butcher knives, baseball bat, some other cool things.
I'll
like
definitely get the ultimate just because I have the other couple ultimates from 2018, like the Lori and all that stuff. So I'll make sure I'll get that one.
So we got those. And then they release a ton more of these Gremlin figures. So you ready for this? You've got the Ultimate Brain Gremlin. That's coming out. You've got the Demolition Gremlin 2-pack. That might be out. I'm not sure. Let's see what the... No, the Ultimate Brain... Ultimate Brain is a cloth figure, man. That
First one?
That comes out in March of 2022.
Well, you know what? They did like a Santa Claus one. Remember? I think it might have had. I wonder if it had real clothes. I don't know.
But that one's the first one of the Gremlins line that I've seen like that. So the Demolition 2-pack is like, God, what was that Gremlin? Gremlins 2, the goofy one, and then like, yeah, here we go. Comes out in March of 2022 too. It's got like Acme TNT in it and things like that. Just a very odd choice. And a whole like blueprint thing for them destroying the freaking Statue of Liberty. So there you go.
It's a lot of Gremlins if you're into that. I mean, it's cool, but I think it's one of those things where like it's not something I need to add. If I was like an obsessed with Gremlins and I'm like I'm only doing Gremlins, and that would be something different. But the problem with Gremlins is they're too similar, except there's just like different clothes or whatever.
True. All right, let's see what else we got. Here you go. This is the one you mentioned. The My Bloody Valentine 8-inch cloth action figure, the Miner. Sons of bitches, like fucking everybody over. And now it's too late to sell it because it won't be worth dick.
I know.
Like you can't even sell the one that we've already got. That comes out in October of this year. So you've got, you know what comes in it because we've already got the damn thing.
Yep.
Pisses me off.
So I'm not gonna. So at least it saves us money now. Except I think we had to buy something to get it before, didn't we? I don't remember.
No, I just bought the figure on that one. I do know that.
Maybe
like you could,
maybe I
you
did
could,
too. I don't remember.
you could buy the whole pack, which is like the poster, the steel book, and the figure. And then you've got some pretty cool stuff like Universal Monsters series is coming out. They got
What do you think of those? My Target had Frankenstein the other day, and I had him in my hand, and it's really cool looking actually. And then I'm like thinking to myself, all right, well, if I get him, I'm gonna have to get the other ones, and do I want to start a new collection? So that's why I put him down and kind of was like, let me think this over. But I don't know if he's becoming something that like, dude, you should have grabbed it when you saw it because he's hard to find now. I don't know, but I did see him the other day, and I had him.
I saw it too at the same Target that I was talking about, like seeing the Mccreedy one in, and I thought that it was pretty cool. It's just not my bag though. Like I've never really been into the Universal Monsters or anything like that. But that being said, the Frankenstein one's out, and then they've got a Mummy one that's coming out in December that looks pretty badass too. It comes with like the sarcophagus and all that stuff.
Well, do you want to hear how crazy I am? I was looking at the Frankenstein one, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I could take this out and somehow customize him to be like the dude from the Funhouse. That was what my brain was thinking.
That's not a bad idea, really.
That's what my brain was like. If it was a Funhouse Frankenstein, I would be all over it.
But yeah, so we got all those coming out, and then the one that you were talking about earlier too, which is the one that we both already pre-ordered, which is the Halloween 2 Ultimate Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis 2-pack.
I did pre-ordered it. It's not cheap, but again, it's the closest thing to what I wanted with the double pack back in the day. So I needed to make sure to grab it before that thing sells out. Because again, like we said with Jaws, Halloween stuff, if it's those stay valuable.
And a lot of people think with that one too, that like one of the big selling points of it is the flames. Like whether or not you think that it looks ridiculous or not, which it kind of does. But it's still cool that you can set Michael Myers on fire. Like, there's a flame kind of shield thing that comes up over him.
But I think that's going to be something people want because I think they're like, oh, shit, I can use that for tons of other things. Like, if they're, like, photographers that do figures. Like, if you can have, like, fire that you can add to people. Like, I mean, as a collector and you want to make scenes and stuff like this, it's endless at that point.
I think it's actually a pretty cool idea. To be honest, it looks
Mccreedy lighting Myers on fire if you want to.
It looks kind of ridiculous on that particular Myers, but the idea, the thought behind it is pretty good. Like it's pretty unique, and no other figure has anything like that really. Other than I think there might have been a Nightmare on Elm Street figure with a dog or something like that was on fire.
I remember that.
Like, yeah,
I remember. I remember there was one with like a dog with the baby head. Remember that thing?
Yeah. So anyway, though, we got that going. And you should definitely probably pre-order that now if you haven't, anybody. Comes out in December, is that right? I figured it would come out in October. But damn. And then after that, we have a whole bunch of nothing, it looks like. Got to be some more stuff coming out.
Well, yeah, you have the American Werewolf line.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Let's see. I got to go to page 2 here. Oh, you've got to be getting this one if this is not already out. There ain't no friggin' way. Is the Ultimate Doc Brown figure already out?
Depends on which one. There's one I'm missing. I'm missing a Part 2 Doc. He was a Target exclusive, and I think now he's available everywhere. So I do need a Doc. If he's got like a lab coat, I have that one. I need the one with like the futuristic gear. That's
what I'm looking at. So apparently, it came out in July. Apparently, the Back to the Future 2.
He was a Target exclusive in July, I think.
Yeah.
And now I think he's kind of like in that Mccreedy realm where he's now going to be available other places. But I haven't found either of them. So where is he at?
That's a good damn question. I don't know. I'm just like looking on Neca stuff here.
All right.
And then you got some stuff. I don't know. Do you know anything about the Boys? Because I don't know anything about the Boys.
No, I've never seen it.
King Kong. I've seen those at like every Target I've been to.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Universal Wolfman, the Ultimate Wolfman, which actually looks pretty badass. Let's see when that one comes out. And then It comes out in November. And that looks pretty cool. But then the other big one, like you were talking about, is, of course, the American Werewolf in London set, which you can get the giant ultimate Kessler wolf.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to probably get that if I see it.
Hopefully you guys, you remember the wolf. Like, they only show it for like a really brief period of time, like in the actual movie, like just like 2-second clips, like moving around in the subway and things like that. But it's a badass design, and Rick Baker came up with it, and it's pretty cool on here too. Can pre-order that one for November.
All right, I just threw some shit in my cart on Big Bad Toy Store. Let me see.
Here we go. Yeah, you son of a bitch.
All right, so I just threw in Mccreedy and Candyman. Jesus. Let me see. Dude, I have a lot of stuff on pre-order. Let me just see what I have on pre-order really quick.
You have to cancel out half that shit.
I just want to make sure I didn't already pre-order these somewhere.
So you people asked for it. He's actually going to buy this shit live for us now.
I got a lot of He-Man stuff in here. See, this is the problem. It's like, so I'm buying all these He-Man Origins for my son, so I've been buying all those, so I've got a lot in here. Oh, I've got the Myers thing. You want to hear the worst thing about this? Speaking of NECA, I'm going to tell you right now what I have pre-ordered at Big Bad Toy Store. I have pre-ordered the life-size Tiffany NECA replica and the life-size Chucky, Bride of Chucky replica that I ordered in, let me see when I ordered this. I ordered these July 7th, 2019. I pre-ordered these. Think about that.
Wow.
Dude, is that crazy? That's when I pre-ordered them.
Yeah.
I still don't, they're not even, nobody knows when they're coming out. And the problem is the Big Bad Toy Store is you purchase them and then you've got to put like a down payment on, like something like that, because they're so expensive. You had to put a down payment on. And then it's like they basically just will like text you and email you and say, they're shipping now and we're going to charge the rest. So that's where it gets tricky because you've always got to be ready. Like, dude, these things are $500 a piece. I have both of them. So basically at any point in time, they're going to at least, I think I paid like $100 to pre-order it, but
you have like $800.
Dude, so like that's the thing. Like I could get an email that's saying just shipped, and like 800 is just going to come out of my account, and like at a random time. These things were already supposed to be released like in January, and they're still not. They're still not here. I think these were supposed to be released in January of like 2020 or something like that. We're in August of 2021. It says right here, estimated time of arrival, August 2021. But they say that every month. It just
that's what kills me about that store is like I'll go in there to check on shit, and then it'll say the month that they're in. Like, okay, here's when it's supposed to come in, and then it doesn't come in. Then it'll be the next month, and you'll be like, oh, it's in this month. Like they've done that 100 times on different stuff that I've ordered, and it's like really annoying.
So that's what's tough about Big Bad. I've got so much on pre-order, but like, man, imagine if they decide to ship everything at once. Like that's like $1,000 just right there. Boom, done. So that's what's stressful. I mean, I cannot wait for these Chucky dolls because I don't know if you remember the pictures of those things. It was unreal. Like I have the good guy one over here that looks great, but dude, these things look insane. Like if you remember Bride of Chucky, like the way they looked in that, like it's
the
like,
stitching and everything.
Dude, but it's like I saw the Seed of Chucky ones that they did for Trick or Treat. Like they came out at the same time. Those ones are already out. But the Seed of Chucky ones from Trick or Treat look good, but they do look like dolls, where these things look like real life. Like it's unreal. Like the eyeballs are like real acrylic. Like, you know, it's not like plastic or anything like that. So it's unreal what these things are going to look like. The problem is that they just, I don't know when the heck they're coming. So I don't know if anybody else has seen those things. They're pretty
are you
badass.
saying you're not going to pre-order anything because it's going to be like $800? I probably wouldn't.
It's one of those things, you know, when someone says, "Dude, what's an extra $60 when it's already $1,000?" You know,
that's true. That's very true.
Let me see here.
You pre-order. I'm going to take some of these questions here real quick. Maybe you know the answer to this one. Is the Myers 2-pack a new sculpt?
I think it is. I think that the Halloween one is, yeah.
And then Stuntman Mark asked if either one of us has any ECW figures from the Attitude Era. Each one came with a weapon. New Jack came with a guardrail, but he also had a noose around his neck. I've got most of those in storage, yeah.
Do you really? Yeah, those are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have I have one. I have Balls Mahoney in package. That's all I have.
I've got that New Jack one. I definitely remember that one. I've got like a couple of the other ones. Most of that line that came out.
You know what I don't? All right, I'm definitely ordering Candyman. You know what I don't like about this Mccreedy though? It's like ship at a later date. Like when? Like he's
That's
gonna.
good. That's a good point.
I would just hate to order it, find him at a store tomorrow. I think I could probably cancel him though. Okay. All right, got him.
Did you do it? Did you go through with it?
Yep. Thank you for your order.
Let's see. There you go.
So Candyman's coming, and Mccreedy's coming at a later date.
But that's let's see. I'm not getting into the Toonie Tears shit on here. Like I think those are ridiculous, but a lot of people might like them. But whatever.
No, I haven't got into them. It's one of those things where I actually know what I lied. I pre-ordered and it just came in the other day because I made that picture on. If you guys saw it on my Instagram, talking about our live stream, I got the Jaws one of the shark.
Now that one I can see though. You talking about the 2-pack?
Yeah,
with
so
Quint?
that's the only one I've ordered, and there, like I look around and I'm like, oh, that Elvira one, that would be cool, but I'm like trying, but I feel like they keep pulling me towards it. But then I know it was like as soon as I get Elvira, and maybe like there was another one in that set that I thought was pretty cool, then I'm gonna need all of them, and that's where I'm gonna run into a problem.
So are you thinking about getting? Are you going to get the Ultimate Nightmare Demon from American Werewolf? Because that's coming out too around the same time as the Kessler figure.
I mean, I will say, is it cloth or is it ultimate?
It's Ultimate. Yeah, it's not cloth.
I mean, a part of me says yes, only because I talked about this before, that I like to get things that are very obscure. Like, so for that character to be just kind of random, it makes me more want it more than if it was just like, oh, you're going to get the new Freddy. You know, because like, in what other world are we going to get one of those guys, you know?
True.
Oh,
hey,
boy.
you want to bring out your Boglin?
Why don't you ask the Boglin? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see when he was questioning the guy?
The Boglin?
I'll have to tell you off air.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I got friggin' 4 Boglins right here behind me. Do you really want to see them?
Don't question the Boglin.
Who was asking? Matt?
Matt, yeah.
All right. Which one? You want Blobkin? He likes to talk smack.
Blobkin is the one that gets us in trouble.
I got this guy. I got the original. Stay in there. And then, this little rat right here. Smack talker himself.
That's Blobkin. God, I remember those things from like the 80s.
I was going to do a separate video on these, but whatever. It's all good. Now I get to just clean this place up. All right. So, yeah, those are the only Boglins I have, those bad boys.
All right. One last thing, I mean, on my part here. Like, we still got a ton of people in here, so...
Dude, the Geek Room Life said he's putting a down payment on the Bride of Chucky. Dude, I am telling you...
You got to.
Those are going to be probably the... If you look at the pictures of those that they posted when they were talking about them 2 years ago, are probably going to be, like, some of the most my most favorite pieces of my collection, and I've got a lot of stuff. I mean, they just look so unreal. And I think once those things are gone, they are going to be selling for huge money. You know what? Actually, I do have is I tried to sell them a couple of years ago, but nobody wanted it. Was like when Neca did the big life-size Gremlins. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I have one that I got. It was like the first one they ever did, and he's in the other room just displayed. But I like it. But at the same time, I have Stripe from Trick or Treat Studios, which I like better. I don't think the quality's better, but to me, I was always more of a Gremlins 1 guy. So this other Gremlin I have is from part 2.
Oh, Jesus. Boglins. We need to do an entire Boglin stream. You need to do a Boglin stream. That's what everybody wants. That's what the people demand.
Wants a Boglin stream?
Yeah.
All right, we could make that happen. Again, go back and watch our Severin video from the other day.
Oh, yes. Please do.
Dude, you can't see? Oh, what are they saying? Oh, does anybody have the My Pet Monster live action movie? I do, on DVD. It's a VHS rip, though. But you can see I have My Pet Monster back there.
So I want to do one thing.
Let's
story
do it, man.
time. I'm going to do story time here real quick.
All right, let's do it. So yeah, man, Geek Room Life. It's expensive, man, but I totally support that decision because these things are going to be incredible, and I think they're going to maintain a lot of value in the long run. So, good job on that. They're going to be killer.
So one of these days, we need to do like a memorabilia show. Because this doesn't really fit into any other show that we've done, but I have had this forever, and it's like this is the closest kind of show that I'm going to get to be able to ever talk about this. So here we go. Round about 5 years ago, Michael Felsher, who everybody knows is Slippy, used to have these auctions that were badass, and he would sell all kinds of like stuff that he bought from Savini, and he bought off guys like John Belushi and makeup artists and things like that. People that he would meet that were around Romero. And back then, this shit wasn't that expensive because not many people knew about it. If you go on his auctions, the last like 3 or 4 auctions he's had, there's a bunch of jackasses on there that will spend like just insane amounts of money. Like you can't even get close to doing that.
So it's like buying a house now. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
You just get outbid by like $100,000. Yeah.
But one of the coolest things that I have in my collection by far is he sold me, I don't remember how much it was, but he sold me this is a latex bust makeup from Night of the Living Dead 90 that was not used in the movie, but was one of like the cast from the zombies that John Belushi did. And it's like one of my favorite things. And I also have a crew jacket from that movie, which has the guy's name inside the jacket that was on the crew too. So I always love this, and I'll probably never get a chance to like display it. But if you ever had like an actual latex mask, they're heavy as hell. Like there's no way you could break this thing unless you seriously like tried.
Really? I was just going to ask you how fragile that thing was.
Not very. This would be one of those scenes like where I drop it and it fucking shatters, like those YouTube videos. Yeah. But
that's awesome, man. I mean, talk about unique, huh?
The detail in that thing is amazing.
Now you don't know who that was supposed to be for, do you? Like a no-name character, or did they go with a different makeup? Or I'm only saying it because, like, I mean, it could be anybody. Like, imagine having the head of that signed by Savini, the forehead. That would be pretty killer. Because I mean, it's just white right now, but have that on there. That might be a pretty cool little piece or something.
Yeah, like I don't know which zombie it was made to. To me, it kind of looks like the one. I don't know if you remember the one that was like really, really like emaciated in the beginning of the movie that he like shoots.
I actually just watched that movie the other day. I just got a new version of it, so yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, but that's like one of my most favorite things.
And you have a crew jacket. Have you ever CC You're not on social media, but it's so easy now. You should look up the guy's name on the crew jacket. Find him on social media and like take a picture with the crew jacket.
I did look him up. I don't remember. He was part of the sound crew or something like that.
Oh, really?
And but the jacket itself I got off of Eric Kent, I think, who is actually who's been listening to the show for a long time, who says that he regrets doing that. So I'll probably sell it back to him at some point. But Danielle wants to know, and this is a good question, probably to end the show on too. Which figure has been your proudest purchase and why?
Proudest. I mean, if we count this as a figure, I guess, is that Trick or Treat Chucky doll back there is, it wasn't cheap, but it was something that I've wanted probably my whole life. Like, I was always a big fan of Chucky, and it was one of those things where I always wanted the doll, and I would buy like all these like McFarlane and Neca ones that were like a foot tall, maybe not even like 12 inches. They would talk, and like every year they got a little bit more accurate. Like one year it came in the box, a good guy doll, but it was just never screen accurate. And I used to get so pissed because I would say to myself, how hard is it? Why has nobody come out with like a real accurate version that you could get at a toy store? So when they finally decided to release that and have it the good guy version and in the replica box, it was something that I was just wanted for so long. So I didn't care what it cost at that point. So I made sure to grab it. So I think when it comes to that, it was just one of those things that it was like, man, I've been wanting out of my collection since I was a little kid. And throughout my whole collecting life of my teens and 20s, it was always just something I felt like was missing from my collection. I always tried to replace it with like these other Chucky dolls that just never were screen accurate, in my opinion.
I'm sitting here thinking though, like, I mean, that's a good one. My proudest purchase and why? Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, one that immediately comes to mind would be I've got a Blade, like the replica that's like 1-to-1 replica that's actually like the same as the doll in there from Full Moon. And that's like one of my favorite designs of any kind of like, I don't know, toy or anything like that. It's incredibly hard to find now, that particular one too. And that's probably because I got that like super cheap off eBay years and years and years ago, and they got really, really hard to find. And I don't know, I just always liked the design. I like the design of the Puppet Master figures. By the way, Neca's re-releasing all of them, and they're like that big. So I don't.
Let's talk about that before we go off the air, because I have a problem with them because I've already seen them in the store. So I want to talk to you about it.
I haven't seen them, so you go ahead. Like, you tell me, like, what's your impression?
Well, let's talk about that, because now that you bring that up, some of those Puppet Master puppets are things that I kind of regret in a way. I always kind of passed on it. I can remember there's a store at my mall here, and it's still open, thank God. It's called Toy Vault, where they have a lot of old stuff, and people bring in, they trade in, and so there was one time where I remember walking in and they had that Blade, but it was like in a white outfit. Must have been like a variant or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can remember seeing that up there and being like, oh my God, I want that. And I remember going home and like, so funny, dude, I sold like silver, like necklaces and shit, like at my house. I was like going through like all my stuff, like as like a teen. I'm like, oh, I have like silver chains in here. And I remember going to I went back to the mall and I went to like a jewelry store, and at the time they were saying like, we'll buy your silver or something. And I gave him all this stuff, and I'm like, how much is this? And I think he gave me like $100 or something like that. And I ran down to the store and it was gone. So it was one of those things where I always kind of wanted one of those, especially a Blade in my collection, like the actual life-size ones. Is that kind of what you have there?
Yeah, it's the ones that are actually like, I don't know how big it is, maybe 18 inches, something like that.
So it would be considered exactly probably the size they were in the movie, though, right?
That was the thing. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 like scale, like as it is in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool item. Me personally, like, am I a huge Puppet Master fan? No, but I do love Puppet Master 2 for some reason. That was always my favorite growing up.
Well, Puppet
I
Master
don't know
2 is
why.
like 1,000 times better than Puppet Master, the original, is a boring ass movie. And only
That's
like
what I
at the
always thought.
very end do you see like any of the puppets or anything really. Like the rest of it's like a drama. But Puppet Master 2 is the movie everybody thinks about when they think about Puppet Master. It's the one that actually
It
has.
felt so much more 80s horror than the other ones that I recall.
Yeah.
So I was always a big fan of part 2. So if I was to collect any of those, I would probably get like just the guys from that part 2. Like I don't even need Six Shooter because he wasn't really in. He was later down the road, but yeah. So I did see the Puppet Master figures at Target. And I was actually pretty excited for these because I was like, I'm never going to get the puppet, so I might as well get something else. And honestly, like I thought these things were going to be probably like at almost 6 inches stocky. I thought they were going to be. And I opened the thing up and I was like, what the hell? Dude, they're small, man. And I personally was very disappointed with them. I know other people that were like, dude, they're so nice. To me, they almost looked like a detailed version of the damn army men that you would buy and put in your sandbox like as a kid, like those little dude, they're probably only like that big. Like they're probably, I don't know, probably the size of my finger, I bet.
See,
That's
like
it.
I think if you're going to do figures like that, like they need to be pretty close to like the actual size of the fucking dolls.
When
Like
you're
I
that
mean,
small, you might as well get them as close to like
yeah, like at least 12 inches. Like if you're going to do that, just go like that direction with it.
So you got to put it this way. Like it's funny because I've talked about this before, and it's like I'm almost like hypocritical because like I don't have any Sam NECA stuff because to me, I look at Sam and I'm like he doesn't match up to the other toys. Like it doesn't make sense. Like he's almost the same height, so I don't want to have him there. Same with the Gremlins. Like Gizmo's like as tall as freaking Jason or whatever. So I'm not going to buy Gizmo or anything like that. So I always kind of say, oh, I wish they were scaled the proper way. Well, guess what? They scaled these freaking puppets the right way. And now I look at them and say, what the hell is this? I don't want this. I didn't want these things to be scaled that way. So, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess, kind of thing, because I'm not getting them personally because, man, they're still like 30 something bucks for those for you get two. And then, to me, I was like, no way, I'm not doing it.
I mean, I like those figures. I like a lot of them. I like, the designs of the Tunneler and like Blade and the Leech Woman and all that stuff. I like them. But I'm not either. I'm not going to buy like little tiny, replicas when you can buy like the full moon ones that are a lot bigger than that. Like still, even though Charles Band is like, the cheapest used car salesman-y kind of guy that's out there. I think he like really tops Lloyd Kaufman in terms of just like a sleazy kind of guy. But here's the interesting.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, here's the interesting question that I don't think anybody's ever asked. It says, Uncle Bill, I know you're a big X-Files fan. Do you have any X-Files figures? Yes. When the movie came out, Fight the Future, I bought the whole fucking line, and I don't know if any of them are worth anything. They weren't worth anything for forever because I have them all like up in storage, and like I know that like they made so many of them or something that they just like they weren't ever worth more than the price you bought them for. But now that might have changed. But I've got like that whole line that came out around the time of that movie.
Well, you know what, dude? I didn't realize you were a big X-Files fan.
Oh yeah, I've got
All right, so I love the X-Files. My buddy Keith was like the biggest X-Files fan. He had all those figures too. I think there was even a weird one that was like kind of scary. Like it was almost like something was inside a cocoon or a body bag or something like that. I remember him having.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, there was like a body bag one too, but there was one that was like a translucent alien, and like you could almost see through like the middle part of it, like all the organs and shit like that. Mm-hmm. They had like a bunch of different ones like that.
Man, that's a series that I have the whole thing, and I say to myself all the time, like, dude, sit down and just go through it all again, because I kind of was really hard into it, and then I kind of got out of it like when, remember Mulder left and they brought in like T-1000 or whatever?
Robert Patrick.
Yeah, like I kind of stopped watching it around that, and then I think I went to my buddy Keith's house, and because he was like, this is the final episode, and I remember watching that. So there was a lot that I missed, but man, like that was a Friday night for me. Was it Friday? Fridays growing up, we'd go. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. I think it was Fridays. But my brother and my dad and I would watch that like every Friday night for years. And man, those are some great shows. And I haven't seen them in so long. Like, do they hold up today? I'm sure they must.
Yeah, they do amazingly. Like, and there are certain ones too that, because like, okay, in the X-Files, for people that don't know, you had two different types of stories. You had like the standalone stories, and then you had the mythology stories, which the mythology was like everything to do with aliens, and the standalone was like creature of the week kind of shit.
Right. Okay.
The creature of the week ones stand up a lot better because the mythology, like, you can't just start watching that right in the middle of it. You're not going to know what the hell's going on now. But the ones where they did like with Home and Bad Blood and like what were some other ones? The ones with Lily Tomlin where they were the ghosts and all that. All those still hold up like amazing.
Now, man, Home is still like, man, if that was like that movie is still like, I don't even know what to say about that. That is like one of the creepiest, nerve-ending what do you call it? A show episode? I mean, that thing could have been a whole damn movie.
Basically, it's the whole entire script for the Wrong Turn movies.
I was just gonna say that was what Wrong Turn should have been. You know what I mean? Like I was like, that's what it reminds me of is Wrong Turn, like big time. But it felt more realistic than Wrong Turn, you know, to me. But man, what does Wes think of X-Files? Does he like it?
He never watched it. I don't know if he doesn't like it. I just know he never really watched it.
And I don't know if this is being selfish for me, but at the same time, maybe it would be good for him. But dude, I would love to like do like a commentary or something and kind of go back and start watching some of these episodes again, because you could, number one, like kind of fill in the blanks and he could watch it for the first time and then I could watch it again because it's been so long. But I don't know if people would be down for that. The hardest part is, you know, other people having access to the shows, I guess, would be the hardest part with that.
That's true, but man, they sold like a ton of the DVD, like of those sets and stuff. And you can get them cheap now.
Now, does anybody know if they're on like Amazon Prime or Hulu or anything where you can stream them, or nobody knows that?
I streamed them on something here not too long ago. They're on one of those.
I would love to go back and go through those again. Like, what is it? Only about an hour tops.
Yeah, all the episodes are like 45 minutes.
Because I think he would probably dig them, to be honest with you.
Well, do you remember, like, there was some amazing episodes. Pusher.
I wouldn't know them by title, but like this ones that like really ring a bell to me is like there was, man, I have like getting flashbacks of like, was there one like the beginning? There's like a little girl gets kidnapped with like a balloon or something like from a park. There was another one I can remember where this guy had like electricity going through him, and all I remember is filters. Hey Man, Nice Shot was like playing like very loud.
Yeah.
That was another one that I'm like, dude, that was such a killer one. And what I didn't really realize is, like my friend Keith said, is there was a lot of returning characters, which I never really realized. Like he would always say like, oh, that's the so-and-so man. Like he was in other episodes or something.
There was the cigarette smoking man. There was the Lone Rangers.
That's what he always says like that. Yeah.
There was a bunch of them that would come in and out and stuff, but
Man, I definitely am gonna start watching those again. And when you're saying the mythology section, is that kind of one of those episodes where he was going to like where it had to do with his sister again?
Yeah, like that's the whole storyline where he's trying to find his sister and like trying to find out what happened to her, and like so there's all that, and that's where the cigarette smoking man comes in like a lot. Like he's in a lot of those, and so are the Lone Rangers. But the standalone ones, which are the ones where like it's like Bigfoot and Loch Ness and fucking. Just random monsters that they're trying to find. And then they had the Fluke Man. Somebody mentioned that. They had the guy that had oh God, I'm trying to remember what the name of that episode was, where it's on Hulu. Okay. Ooh. So yeah. There was an episode with a guy that like, he lived in the walls, and I think that was an inspiration for the Black Christmas remake, where he would jump out of the walls and try to eat people's liver because he had some sort of weird condition or something like that. If anybody knows the name of that episode, tell me, because I'm going blank on it. But that's a great episode too.
Oh man, I would love to go back and watch those again. I'm gonna start watching them tonight probably, because every time I usually will go to bed and throw stuff on. But if it's on Hulu, I can just start. If I can start from the beginning, I'll just start going. But if that's anything that you and him want to do, and maybe throw in a couple episodes, maybe of just like the monster ones or whatever. It might be worth doing. Now, another thing is I bought the Blu-ray of the new season that came out. And it was one of those ones where I I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna really watch it. My friend Keith brought it over, and he was here. Don't watch anything, but just watch this one episode first, and then go back and watch the rest. Did you see the new one at all? The new season, the new series?
I watched it. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about it. Like I don't remember
one episode on it that's like very like schlocky, and it was phenomenal. I can't think of what it was, but he said he goes, "This is the episode you're gonna watch," and it's very reminiscent of the old stuff, but it's almost like kind of horror comedy-esque.
Well, those are my favorite.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but it's on the new season and it's phenomenal. And I can't remember the exact name of that episode. So,
like, dude, any of the comedy ones, like Jose Chung's From Outer Space and Bad Blood, like those are my favorite ones. Like Bad Blood's the one with Luke Wilson. I don't know if you remember that, where there's the little kid like is a vampire and they think he's a vampire and all that, and like Luke Wilson's the deputy, and like everything is. They do the episode, and it's from different people's perspectives. So, like, they'll do 15 minutes of it's, like, from Scully's perspective, and 15 minutes of it's from, like, Mulder's perspective, and then 15 minutes of it's, like, from the sheriff's perspective or some shit like that. Like, it was genius, like, the shit they were doing at that time.
Yeah, man. Somebody said Squeeze. I don't know if that's talking about the new...
That's the episode. No, that's the episode I was trying to figure out with the guy that was in the thing. Tombs, maybe? I don't know. Anyway.
Why did it just...
A lot of people want to check out, Squeeze and Tombs. That's the episode.
Yeah, man. I mean, guys, if this is something you want, maybe we can talk Wes into doing it, because especially if he hasn't seen him, it might be interesting to get someone's point of view nowadays who's never seen the show, if they think it still holds up or not. I remember as a kid, like, loving it, but I haven't really gone back to watch it since I was probably a teenager. So I do have all the seasons. I do have Hulu, so I'd definitely be down to maybe do some of that. So if you guys want to, maybe we can kind of get that going.
Yeah, I've got the Hulu. I would love to revisit those too, though, because, I mean, throughout the 90s, that was my favorite show. It's still my favorite TV show of all time. Mm-hmm. And I can quote you most of the episodes. So Wes is the only one that's kind of behind, so we would have to bring him into it.
I don't remember a lot. Like, I know the plot lines and stuff of kind of what it's about, but it was one of those things that to me it would be fun to go back to, because it was like a big time. Like, it was really the only show that my dad would sit there with my brother and I and watch. Normally it would be like my dad would be like, "What do you want to watch?" We'll watch something. He'd go like in the other room and do his own thing. It was really the only show that we all three of us sat down and watched, because my mom would work on Friday nights. So, it's definitely something that would bring back a lot for me. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to continue talking too much about it on a NECA show, but
but it is a good idea, though. Yeah,
I think so. And it's something you don't see often. So I would definitely be down. So again, like I said before about hyping things up, in the Dead Pit Facebook group, hype up. We want X-Files commentaries, and get this ball rolling.
Yeah, I mean, go to the Facebook Dead Pit group, go to the Instagram, like, go wherever you can, and request that Wes get off his ass and watch the X-Files.
I'm sure he's probably not going to watch this far into this show anyways, so...
No.
So if you go on the group and you guys just start saying, "We want X-Files stuff," like, he might be like, "What?" So it might get him to do it. Because, again, coming from someone who's never seen it, it's either he's going to be like, "Yeah, that sounds cool, I'll watch it," or he's going to be like, "I've stayed away from it this long, I'm not going to start now."
I'm fucking staying away from it now, yeah.
It's either going to be one or two. But yeah, man, I think it's definitely a good idea.
But man, like, the season 8 and season 9, which we were talking about, where Robert Patrick comes into it, that's where it kind of get, like, I wouldn't recommend watching anything in that. But we'll stay to the first, like, 7 seasons.
Sure.
But yeah, so I don't have anything else. If you've got anything else, this has been a hell of a show. We've gone 2 hours and 20 minutes at this point.
I don't want to do any more because I'll spend more money, and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, I get a lot of cleaning to do, so it's going to take me like another 30 minutes before I get to bed. So
me too. So if anybody has any last minute comments, now will be the time, or questions. Pusher, I love Pusher, Cerulean Blue, and anybody that knows that episode will know that reference. Season 8 does have some decent stuff, but it really, once you get Annabeth Gish and that shit, it's not great. I said we need to do more live streams together.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I had fun.
It's been a great time. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get this outro to play us out, but check us out over at Deadpit on Patreon.com, or check us out on the Instagram page, and check out Born2BeRad, and check out all the shit in the world. And I appreciate you guys coming, and we'll do another one of these shows because it went over really, really well, and appreciate it. Let's see if I can get us an outro. And I am Uncle Bill, and I will see you at deadpit.com. Come on.
Stay rad, peeps. Share this video if you liked it. Peace.
Come on, outro. I can do this.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPitOnPatreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.